Introduction. There's a misconception that successful people are born under a lucky star, but the truth is, success is a journey, not a destination, and it's largely paved by our own choices and actions. This book is your guide on that path, focusing specifically on achieving success in your career, finances, or personal development. Success isn't a singular definition. It's the culmination of accomplishments that bring you closer to fulfilling your life's purpose. It's achieving financial security, mastering a skill, or building meaningful relationships. It's about looking back with satisfaction at the hurdles overcome and the growth achieved. But it's not a solo endeavor. External factors like supportive mentors and access to opportunities also play a significant role. Successful people are testaments to the power of perseverance. They inspire others not through involuntary admiration, but by openly sharing their struggles and the habits they developed for triumph. They are the ones who hold on to their achievements with resilience while constantly striving to become better versions of themselves. This book equips you with the tools to cultivate those same winning habits. We'll delve into strategies to avoid failure, harness the power of positive thinking, and develop a strong work ethic. You'll learn how to tackle challenges head-on, build character, and most importantly, find a sense of purpose that fuels your journey toward success. Parents, teachers, and leaders all have a role to play in fostering a generation of thriving individuals. By instilling the right values and providing guidance, they can empower others to take control of their destinies. Chapter 1. How to live like a successful person. As success habits are common, daily routines, mental attitude, and behaviors that are endeared to the heart and mind of the society's successful few, or those who seem destined for success in life. They are the simple things that define the lives of those who have accomplished enough in life and the success-oriented minds that are on track to attaining total happiness and fulfillment in life. They are unique features of the successful and the means to succeed who have what it takes to succeed. In real life, success habits are qualities and features that can be adaptable by anyone. However, the courage and will to do it are hurdles that settle the society's majority to the spectators' sidelines, while the determined few play the highly fancied game of success in open ground with resources and time that are accessible by all. Some of these habits include the following. They set concrete goals that they desire to achieve. They are always clear about their objectives and do not condone vagueness. They deliberately practice what they believe in and work hard to perfect it. They believe in practice makes perfect. They have consistent wake-up routines to get their program started in good time. They detest lateness. They keep track of current affairs to trap any new ideas, innovations, and technologies to improve their careers and businesses. They constantly challenge themselves for growth and self-improvement. They embrace change and are ready to adapt to new ways of life. They keep a regular physical exercise routine because they value and jealously guard their health. They embrace and learn from failure and draw life's crucial lessons from past mistakes. Unlike others, they do not allow past mistakes and failures to put them down. They are careful managers of resources, notably time and money. They only invest their money and time where there is a guarantee for the highest productivity. They meditate from time to time, which is a great way of keeping depression at bay as well as improving concentration. Evidently, these are good personal habits. The question is, how does a person acquire such successful habits? Though the process of habit acquisition varies from individual to individual, and depending on an individual's surroundings, there are a number of ways through which a curious, success-oriented person may acquire a particular habit or habits. The following are some of the crucial considerations that a change-hungry individual ought to take in the journey to acquiring a new habit. Deciding to act in a particular new way. Making no exceptions and excuses in the process of adopting a new habit. Coming out openly that one wants to start acting in a certain manner. Visualizing oneself practicing that new way. Creating and repeating an affirmation a number of times regularly. Resolving to be persistent in practicing that particular habit. Rewarding oneself on attaining of some goal in the process, and after successfully adjusting to that new way of behavior. Aching the decision to acquire a new habit. If a person is determined enough to make something of themselves, then they must significantly change how they normally do things. One of the important things that they need to do is adopting new habits that have helped others to succeed. However, decision-making is not always simple. It requires a toughness of mind, clarity of vision, elaborate goals, and tools that are necessary for the realization of a given objective. Person has to clearly choose to start acting in a certain way completely at all times. This is then followed automatically by setting a goal that the new habit has to be achieved fully within a specified period. Given the right resources, there should be neither hesitation nor procrastination to set things in motion. For instance, if a person chooses to have regular wake-up routine early every morning for physical exercising, they must set specific time for waking up, set the alarm, and strictly get up on the sound of the alarm. Be specific about the duration of the exercising session, and conduct that personal activity without the need for reminders or external supervision. Importantly, decision-making must focus only on setting out to accomplish a mission that is specific, practically attainable, and be broken down into small chunks that are easy to handle. One must not decide to do something that might have detrimental effects on the body and mind, and render themselves incapable of fulfilling their obligations. Everybody understands their potentials, strengths, weaknesses, and should only choose to do what they can comfortably handle without causing injury or harm upon themselves. Also, it is advisable to be pragmatic in the process of working towards accomplishing a given task. A practical approach to problem solving is far more efficient than theoretical methodology. Failing to make a decision may just be evidence of a person's inability to know what they want. In some cases, a person may know exactly what they want but are clueless about what they need to do to get what they want. Those who know what they want but do not know how to get it mostly fail to even try to figure out how they can do it. As a result, their inner desires remain as mere desires. They just dream but do not have what it takes to make their dreams come true. They are lazy because they cannot even put their healthy minds to task in a creative way. Normally, they lead indecisive lively and only survive on what is already in place. They cannot take the initiative to make any difference in life. Person must know exactly what their heart desires. They then need to find a way to work towards realizing their heart desire. This is usually through research, consultations, and brainstorming. Eventually, they should find the courage to implement a plan to accomplish their objective. Getting started is normally a big obstacle in the way of the pursuit of success. A decisive mind would never find this to be a stumbling block in their quest to personal fulfillment. Do not make exceptions. People normally find a way to let themselves off the hook whenever they need to justify their deliberate faltering in the process of executing their task. They are prone to making excuses for not doing one thing or the other, even when they have personally opted to do it. They convince themselves and vehemently attempt to convince others that they have a good reason to abandon something for some reason or postpone it for another day. The habit of procrastination is the biggest demotivating factor in achieving any of a person's objectives in life. It is completely unacceptable to postpone what needs to be handled now for a later moment, since it is possible to postpone again, for the reason that led to the first procrastination may still be there another day. Furthermore, making excuses for deciding to deviate from a clearly defined cause may just be an indication that a person made a misinformed decision, is incapable of setting their priorities right, and a lack of commitment to follow through one's own undertaking. It is a sign of confusion and feature of a person destined to fail. Successful people do not procrastinate. They also do not make excuses for faltering in their quest for success. A person accepts such faltering and makes a promise to themselves to never allow such an error to reoccur. If you decide to acquire a certain habit within a specific time frame, have the commitment and determination to follow through your decision until the goal is achieved to satisfaction. There should not be room for excuses if they fail to accomplish their mission. In fact, the best way of avoiding excuses is by making sure that everything happens according to plan. You should strictly adhere to your plan to completion so that there is no need for making excuses in the end. People who make excuses simply lack the audacity to address their lack of commitment to a single cause. They live disorganized lives, are incapable of making priorities, and usually embark on endeavors without solid plans. Such people are easily distracted by external factors as well as unexpected thoughts. They have unsettled minds because they do not make up their minds to pursue a single objective. Mostly, they have a million ideas running through their minds, but they do not have the ability to implement a specific. They keep changing causes and end up missing out on most of them. Let others know our human weaknesses in most cases overwhelm us so much that we end up believing that we are stronger than we really are. When we feel like bringing a new twist into our normal lives, There is sometimes a level of undue pride that convinces us to ignore everyone else with the common, unwise remark of "it's my life." Who doesn't know that it is actually yours? And do you think anybody that it is your life, or that is not theirs? Kindly shake off that unnecessary arrogance to let in others who truly have the power to influence you towards finding a better you. Sometimes it is inconveniently comforting to allow external pressure to work towards achieving something. We may just have to do something, whether it is pleasant or not, simply to prove to others we really can. Worse still, we have to simply let others criticize and remind us of what we need to do. For this to happen, we must let others be privy to even the most personal of affairs that would otherwise be concealed from the mere sight of others. But the pressure may surely be powerful enough to drive us to some place of profound significance in our worthy pursuits. The decision to acquire a new, good habit should not be concealed. It ought to be shared with others. Tell people that you have decided to begin acting in some other peculiar way. Tell others exactly what you intend to achieve by acquiring that new habit, and also inform them how you plan on achieving that objective. When you tell others that you are going to begin practicing a particular habit, it becomes unusually comfortable to handle it with a lot of determination and discipline. In most cases, the lack of discipline allows people to fumble and constantly lose focus. Discipline comes with a rare kind of conviction and willpower to succeed, thereby enabling you to achieve a given objective. In most cases, people keep reminding you of your new undertaking to just make sure that you are progressing well. This serves as encouragement to motivate you to keep going and reach the ultimate destination. However, others only observe you closely to notice your failures so that you can become a laughingstock. This is frightening because no one wants to be a victim of embarrassment and shame that is primarily borne by their own effort. Although such intention is outrightly negative, it pushes a person to follow through their undertaking to goal accomplishment. The concept of networking was devised from the simple truth that human beings can do a lot of great things when they come together. The fact that people can influence one another in enormous ways led to the conception of social networks that have become exceptionally popular among people, especially in this digital era through different social media channels, network marketing organizations, educative forums, economic forums, and community groups are also anchored on the idea that people have the power to influence one another. Evidently, it is important to embrace the idea of consulting with others even on matters that may be purely of personal relevance. People have the ability to push you even in the fulfillment of your own endeavor, the realization of dreams, and accomplishment of a certain goal. Though there are some who are uniquely awaiting the opportunity to lead you to self-destruct, you are equally privileged to find those who yearn to hold your hand toward success. Visualize yourself acting in that new manner. Every habit is an initial conception of the mind. Desires, attitudes, and passions all reside in the mind. Their outward manifestations are secondary occurrences that appear in the form of physical effort and the accomplishment of a particular objective. It is essential to begin the process of forming that new habit through visualizing it in your mind as though you already have a mastery of it. You must learn how to sharpen your inner eyes to see yourself practicing that desired trait. Don't do it once, but as often as you can, constantly believing from the inside that you can do it, and convincing yourself that you are capable of the habit puts you in a position to sink the new habit in your subconscious mind, which eventually becomes automatic. Practicing the new habit then happens with a lot of ease and comfort when it is firmly fixed in your mind. Within no time, the habit becomes a part of your day-to-day life. Thus, behaving in that new way happens without struggle or discomfort. Create an affirmation. In early childhood development, teachers are trained to employ repetition as a tool for educating their young learners. They engage in song and dance to entertain their delicate learners and encourage them to do the same so as to get them into the mood for learning. They devise simple and interesting recitations of topical issues that it makes it easy for the learners to remember, and at the same getting the fun and entertainment therefrom. Although this is a mere psychological strategy to entice children to embrace studying, it is a highly powerful tool that helps the children to remember and understand some of the things they would otherwise find it difficult and exhausting. Songs and finely designed recitations are normally carved from study topics which range from letters of the alphabet, vowels, and colors of the rainbow to names of important phenomena, among others. Similarly, even adults can effectively employ repetition of certain crucial affirmations to remind themselves about the significant things and events in their lives. In this case, the constant repetition of an affirmation unbelievably increases the speed with which an individual acquires the new habit. Essentially, the use of positive affirmations is a sure way of engraving a given idea, belief, or value to a person's subconscious mind, thereby making it a permanent segment of memory. For instance, always repeating the affirmation that I must recite the Lord's Prayer before retiring to bed every night very day after the evening meal most definitely gets you into the evening meal, most definitely gets you into the habit of reciting the Lord's Prayer before sleeping at night. A resolution to persist. They say that practice makes perfect. This is not far from the truth as far as the acquisition of a new trait is concerned. People who excel in whatever they do always spend hours every day of every week, every month and years to master a particular skill or habit of great significance, but they never rest unless the rest is a mere break from the very thing they have set their minds to. Even when they show physical distance from the endeavor, the mind is firmly tied to it until total completion is reached. For example, a bodybuilding enthusiast would excite a fan with a display of strong muscle mass. The fan may be inspired to try out to also look as attractive and handsome as their idol. To do that, they need to find out exactly how they can get to achieve such an amazing body shape, muscle strength, and body size. Surprisingly, the idea of having to do a whopping 4 hours of intense workouts may turn out to be a turnoff for the wannabe bodybuilder. Therefore, for you to acquire that desired new habit, it is important to keep practicing it for as long as it is necessary until it becomes automatic. You must get to a point where the new habit becomes particularly easy so that failure to do it ignites that feeling of discomfort and unending urge to do it so as to relieve yourself of some pressure. Get yourself a reward. People congratulate and reward others for exemplary work and achievements in life. They do so with the aim of appreciating other people's efforts and success. Also, they do so for the fundamental purpose of encouraging and giving the motivation to pursue and achieve even more success. Shockingly, the same people who congratulate and reward others act as though they do not care or pay attention to their own accomplishment. Perhaps they expect others to flood them with congratulatory messages and gifts, or maybe they just do not feel like they deserve to be rewarded for their achievements. On the contrary, the first person that ought to appreciate you for what you have accomplished is you. Acquiring that new habit is a massive accomplishment, must be appreciated, celebrated, and rewarded. Probably finding a suitable reward for yourself could be an issue. But even a simple night out with the love of your life could do the trick, or a walk in a game park for a few hours. Maybe grabbing a movie ticket with mates may serve you well, or dinner at your favorite restaurant could just be the perfect reward to celebrate your enormous success. When you reward yourself, there is that inherent reinforcement of the new behavior inside your body, mind, and soul. Astonishingly, you form a close association unconsciously, the sweetness of the reward with that acquired trait. Rewarding yourself is a clear sign that you appreciate and value yourself. It shows that you acknowledge and appreciate your own effort and initiative to set out to accomplish a mission. You give recognition to your own contribution towards achieving the goal by treating yourself to something exciting outside your work environment just to cool off and refresh after a successful undertaking. By doing this, you motivate yourself to do more and accomplish more than you previously did. Chapter 2. Aim to succeed. It is not automatic to fail, but it is quite common to do so. Ordinary challenges and the fact that a human being is prone to making errors make it more likely to fail in life than to succeed. That is why, expectedly, failure requires little or no effort, but success may not even be guaranteed by mere effort and hard work. A person has to work hard for success, but failure simply exists. So, while we learn how to succeed, we definitely have to learn how to evade failure. Everybody wants to succeed. That's why practically every human being is on some sort of road trip, solemnly striving to get as far away from failure as they can. Nobody wants to be associated with failure because of its apparent unattractive look to everyone's inner eyes and the devastating impact it has on life, whereas success brings happiness, fame, admiration, and a general feeling of comfort. Failure robs a person of such fine things in life and subjects them to a life of hopelessness, discomfort, and negative self-perception. So, how do you successfully prevent failure from catching up with you? To mark your territory as a no-fail zone, a mastery of a few simple skills and daily routines could just play the trick. It is mandatory to acquire a number of desired habits Form positive beliefs and mental attitude that motivate you to turn failure and embrace success. As someone once remarked, failing to plan is planning to fail. The simple statement summarizes such a mouthful of information in just a single line. It reminds us to always approach every situation with adequate preparedness and readiness. Journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, says a Chinese proverb. A misstep is enough to bring everything crumbling down to the ground. To steer clear of such occurrences, there is a need, for anyone with a vision to succeed, to handle every task with diligence and be as keen as a surgeon. Here is an important checklist of habits that will isolate you from negative forces of failure. Have a winner's mentality. Be visionary and a meticulous planner. Don't allow your past to bring you down on your knee. Endear yourself to hard work. Enjoy your work. Take some time off from time to time. Guard your health religiously. Choose your friends wisely. Never say die. Have a winner's mentality. Winner's mentality is a mindset that puts a person on the brink of success. It is a mindset of self-trust and belief in one's own strengths. It is a positive mindset that drives an individual towards personal growth through concrete goal setting, patience, decisive approach to problem solving, and is always focused. Winner's mentality defines a growth-minded attitude of a person who is open to learning and constantly seeking to discover things that can propel them toward success. People with a winner's mentality never settle for less, but always aim for the best. You vividly remember that high school colleague who kept saying that they are just bad at mathematics. You also remember how they maintained that they cannot perform well in mathematics. And you can confirm that, indeed, your colleague flopped in mathematics throughout your challenging stint at the school. Most people who fail actually believe that they cannot succeed. They are normally convinced that they are incapable of success to the extent that they cannot be persuaded to believe otherwise. These are mainly the kind that only live by the grace and only do things that are basically life-sustaining. They are barren of creative imagination, ambition, and live, hopeless lives without a plan for the future. They are destined for failure. On the contrary, people who have ambition and hope for a brighter future always exude massive confidence, walk shoulder high, and firmly believe in their ability to create something out of nothing. They see opportunities where there seems to be none, and always try to fix things that seem to be problematic. These people believe in winning, and they win because they normally figure out a way to achieve their goals. In a nutshell, a person who stares at failure all the time, even in their dreams, always fails. However, that other one who dreams success, thinks success, and chases success always finds success. So the first step in evading the unfortunate taste of failure is by believing that you will succeed and carry with you that winner's mentality all the days of your life. Plan and have a clear vision. So, what is a plan, and what does it entail? What about vision? Again, we remind ourselves of that famous saying that failing to plan is planning to fail. His is simply to emphasize that everything must be properly planned with a clear vision of what needs to be achieved in the long run, whereas a plan outlines a step-by-step process implementing a given idea. A vision portrays a clear picture of the implemented idea, the outcome of the entire process. Therefore, a plan is the execution means of a clearly choreographed vision. Imagine what would happen if you just woke up, took your money, and set up a high-end rental apartment in a low-income neighborhood. The result would be a visionless, non-productive business idea conceived without proper planning. Visionary person must creatively and intelligently conceive an idea, assess its feasibility, ascertain its value, and plan adequately for its implementation. Any misstep or recklessness in the process amounts to inescapable failure. Embrace hard work. You cannot idle around and expect any positive results. Since there must be outcomes for each one of a person's moves, choosing to idle around and engage in nothing of significance only guarantees profound failure. Hard work may loosely mean endurance or a great deal of effort in the way an individual handles a given task. It means that an individual has the ability to persist in situations where another one cannot. Furthermore, hard work entails smart and vigorous execution of an activity, with the ultimate goal of maximum productivity and efficiency. To be successful, a person must never shy away from work. Hard work is a key factor that leads to success. It is a sign of determination, commitment, and ambition. It is evidence for seriousness in trying to achieve a goal. However, sheer hard work is no guarantee that one ends up successful. Working consistently, going beyond the ordinary, or going the extra mile, and always being in the zone are key ingredients in productive hard work. Furthermore, it is of profound significance to apply laser-focus approach as you work hard. This means that you need to channel your energy towards the most important tasks that guarantee the most desirable results. It is a question of prioritizing your tasks to know their urgency and arrange everything in order of significance. There's not a single successful person who does not cite hard work as a key element in the accomplishment of any endeavor. Hard work normally leads, then the rest follow. Everything else will be useless if hard work misses on the list of the key elements of success. Therefore, it is imperative for everyone to make it a habit to apply hard work in any process of implementing a given plan for favorable outcome. The benefits of hard work are enormous. This is because it is highly essential in the development of a person's discipline and improvement of focus in the execution of a task. Hard work also helps an individual to constantly acquire and develop new skills as well as improve the current ones. Hard work does not singularly refer to exertion of physical effort. It also includes what we exert mentally with the aim of achieving a particular objective. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. It is not possible for a person to effectively execute a given mandate when they are struggling with health issues. A healthy body and an equally healthy mind allows an individual to comfortably and efficiently perform their tasks. Food is fuel as well as a lubricant for the body and mind. Sound mind enables a person to make sound decisions, discover new things, come up with new ideas, and welcome constructive suggestions, as well as adopt recommendations for a better course of action in the implementation process of a given idea toward achieving a goal. On the other hand, a disturbed mind or unstable mind makes a person vulnerable to poor decision-making, rigid and unreceptive of new ideas. This complicates job handling, distracts a person from pursuing a cause as intended, and leads to undesirable results, failure. So, how do you ensure that you are in perfect shape, body and mind-wise? Regular physical exercise does not only shape and strengthen the body, but also relaxes and refreshes the mind. Additionally, good eating habits, anchored by a balanced diet, improves the body's immunity, nourish the brain, and minimizes disease incidences. This enables the body and mind to work effectively, thereby reducing chances of failure. It is common knowledge that you are what you eat. In a layman's language, the kind of food that you eat relates directly to your looks and general health. Eating right guarantees a healthy body and mind, while recklessly consuming the wrong food leads to deterioration of health and sometimes permanent departure from the face of the earth. As a result, everyone ought to observe a balanced diet and adopt a good, regular eating habit for good health that allows the convenience of pursuing success without inhibitive health problems. People abandon their careers to deal with health issues. Some give up in life, lead lives hopelessly and miserably because of being plagued constantly by nutritional disorders, knowingly or unknowingly. In that light, it is imperative to religiously guard your health by strictly observing a balanced diet with good eating habits and a commitment to a comprehensive exercising routine to remain in perfect shape with little concern about nutrition-related disorders. A healthy body and mind function smoothly to enable a person to effectively handle tasks that contribute to the accomplishment of their ultimate goal or goals in life. Watch the company that you keep. That is a common saying that birds of a feather flock together. Loosely translated, this affirmation points to the fact that people of like minds always walk in the company of one another. In short, people's character, behavior, way of thinking, and perception of life can be seen in the kind of friendships that they keep. Peer pressure deviates individuals from their personal ambitions to pursue group undertakings that eventually lead to self-destruct. Drug addiction, reckless sexual behavior, general indiscipline, and engagement in criminal activities are notorious manifestations of peer pressure among potential future successful persons. Bad influence is poisonous to any productive cause by any ambitious mind. On the contrary, positive influence is drawn from spending time around people with a determination to succeed constantly ignites that desire within you to channel your energy and other resources towards a successful life of tomorrow. Therefore, hang around people who have the ability to make you a better person instead of wasting your precious time and resources with people who can only destroy your future. Peer pressure influences children to adopt a come what may attitude and loss of self-control that plunges them into dangerous living characterized by impulsive responses and thoughtless decision-making. This is a negative peer influence that deviates a person from good causes to worthless engagements that barricade their roads to success. However, positive peer influence guides individuals to acquire and develop habits that put them on track to self-improvement. A person who chooses their friends wisely saves themselves from numerous distractive forces of negative influence. We are social beings, so we find ourselves allowing others into our lives from time to time. Fundamentally, the family is the automatic company that we find ourselves in. As we grow and wander the world, we expose ourselves to more people, and the social circle inevitably expand. Whichever the case, whatever the social association we find ourselves in, there are unavoidable consequences we must expect, and there's always so much positivity and hope in the lives of people who are lucky enough to spend a great deal of their lives in good company. On the contrary, people who waste away their time in bad company consequently waste away a great deal of their lives. In other words, the success of a person's life is strongly linked to the kind of influence that a person gets from others. Good company is imperative for success in life because every successful quest happens in an environment of positive thinking and success-oriented approach to life. Learn from your mistakes. When you fall, always have the strength to spring back up, dust it off, and hit the road. Learning how to avoid failure does not necessarily mean leading a failure-free life. It simply means that an incident or incidents of failure cannot stand in the path to your destiny. The past may be full of discouraging experiences. When one dwells on such demotivating memories, the greater possibility is a distracted mind that cannot fully focus on even the simplest of tasks at hand. It marks the beginning of an unspirited approach to a journey towards success and total destruction of one's dream. It paves way for a bleak future, devoid of hope and ambition for a better life. Strong personalities do not whine about misfortunes of the past. They only revisit their pasts to draw life's crucial lessons, mainly from their own mistakes. They have a rare kind of tenacity that powerfully projects their minds far from hopelessness to wander in glorious lands beyond the horizon. These are people with joyful hearts who strongly believe in the possibilities of light at the end of the tunnel, and optimism, passion, and ambition drive them towards their destinies. Importantly, the present offers a highly needed platform and resources to design the future. It allows us to use the past as a reliable reference point where a person can learn from past mistakes to devise new approaches for handling similar tasks for better outcomes in the present and future. Is it not true that stupidity is doing the same thing over and over, the same way while expecting different results? A yes is good because a task is merely a task, but its execution is all that matters, and ultimately determines the final outcome. When past mistakes are laid to rest, past failures are totally or significantly done away with. As a result, life success draws closer and closer. So, drawing lessons from past mistakes serves as an essential step in the journey to successful living. A successful people firmly believe in the idea that there exists an inevitable process of clear procedures that must be observed strictly in order to attain desirable results. If, on the contrary, a person misses a single step or falters somewhere along the way, then the final outcome definitely changes. The intended result cannot be attained if an individual somehow fails to strictly adhere to the rules of the game or deliberately chooses to overlook a part or parts of the whole process. When you realize that a certain mistake caused you unforgettable failure or significantly took a toll on your effort in your pursuit of a given goal, look to steer clear of such erroneous behavior and figure out a corrective measure to ensure that you work and handle things in accordance with laid down procedures for desirable outcomes in future. Enjoy what you do. Performing a simple task without a positive attitude makes it more exhausting than carrying a cumbersome load on the shoulders up a steep hill. In most cases, the mind plays a more significant role when a person is charged with the responsibility of handling a task that outwardly appears to require mere physical strength. For instance, slashing a garden, choking with shrubs and natural turf. A negative attitude makes it exceedingly exhausting. Poor attitude towards an activity hinders an individual from giving their best. A tired mind cripples the body's ability to handle energy-siphoning exercises and render a person ineffective in performing their task. Approach every task with a positive mind. Look at it as another important step towards achieving your goal. Smile through your work and rejoice in it. Let the peace of mind stir up the active segments of your brain to uniquely and creatively devise easier ways of handling that task. You do not wish to be such a successful person with a heavy heart, do you? When you approach any task with a negative attitude, you lose your creative abilities and ultimately get susceptible to mistakes. Remember, mistakes lead to failure. That is what anyone determined to succeed would vehemently work towards avoiding. Recharge yourself regularly. Car engine must be refueled from time to time. A phone battery similarly requires to be recharged regularly. Failure to do a refueling or recharging would render them useless. Human beings use up a lot of energy when they perform different tasks, physical or otherwise. For that reason, there is a need to replenish their bodies and minds of lost energy in order to proceed. One way of recharging yourself is by taking regular breaks. The body and mind are prone to exhaustion when energy is used up. A good rest in the form of a simple nap or walk may just be enough to revitalize body parts and the mind to start over. In addition, having a snack in the course of your work may just be a good way of recharging yourself for better performance for longer. Peanuts and a bottle of water by your side may just serve you right. However, avoid heavy bites and donuts and junk foods that would probably send you into a deep sleep. Never say die. Everyone needs to be reminded right from a tender age that winners never quit and quitters never win. Other words, we all need to possess that never say die mentality if we solemnly seek to have fulfillment at the end of life's gruesome journey towards destination success. Anyone who is eager to lead a fulfilling life and consider themselves accomplished ought to primarily consider themselves warriors. Unavoidably, true warriors understand that pain is part and parcel of their lives. But in spite of that, they never quit and must endure the tough times with their eyes and minds fixated on honor, in victory or otherwise. Similarly, an ambitious mind whose primary goal is total accomplishment and fulfillment needs a warrior's mentality so as to face obstacles with courage and ultimately accomplish their mission in spite of the struggles, pains, and sufferings that may come their way. Success cannot be achieved by those who shake and tremble in the face of adversity. Success is meant for the few who take on challenges head-on with a conviction to overcome. Fundamentally, success starts in the mind before the real journey gets underway. Therefore, first believe that you can succeed, be ready to do what is necessary, and then do it without fear or hesitation. Chapter 3. Building the core values of a successful youth. People are competing to outdo one another in fashion, financial status, oratory charm, beauty, academic excellence, and many other outward displays of self-value. This sums up the features of the personality of a person. However, the inner values and beliefs and define a total human are becoming far much a forgotten idea. The concept of a character that guided people's quests for self-fulfillment in years before them. A century is longer a big deal, but for the completeness of a successful person, that the character is imperative. Hence, this leads us to the question, what is a character? Character refers to moral and mental qualities that define a person. Just to be clear, character and personality are two different things. Most people confuse one for the other, but the truth is that the two are dissimilar. Whereas character revolves around cultivating virtue in an individual, personality largely focuses on personal fulfillment and achievement. Character is built around moral imperatives as well as actionable initiatives through work. On the other hand, personal pleasures, fashion, and wealth are the defining qualities of personality. People of high character embrace self-sacrifice, while those who care majorly about personality consider self-realization to be the most important aspect of a successful life. Character differs from individual to individual as seen through behavior and general conduct, as well as mental attitude towards other people and situational changes in life. There are people of good character and others of bad character. Some are said to be of high character, whereas are said to be of low character. Besides, an individual may be described as a person of noble character, a great deal of character, or no character at all. You are said to be of a given character by considering your behavior measured against social values and standards laid down in the society. If you are said to be of good, strong, high, or noble character, then you are regarded highly in society, and you are an admirable member of society. On the contrary, a person of bad, weak, or low character is an individual who is of low standing within their society and are largely detested. Character building motivates us to acquire a set of traits that define our attitudes, moral values, and perception towards life. It drives towards the kind of people we become and determines our behavior in our day-to-day activities as well as shaping our relations with others. It is a process that either gets to be admired or perceived with disdain in society. Ultimately, character building contributes highly to the roles that we play in society. This process may shape us into proactive individuals with a commitment to moral imperatives and work, or turn us into carefree individuals lacking in virtue and initiative to do good. In a nutshell, the process may mold persons into socially unattractive beings or highly admirable figures whose main agenda is providing solutions to problems and working towards improving their immediate surroundings. Character is developed and shaped right from the beginning of life, and the process continues throughout a person's life. The environment plays quite a significant role in the development and shaping of a person's character. An environment characterized by moral rot will inculcate in an individual poor moral values, shaping them into a person of undesirable character. However, an environment of good moral standing shapes an individual into a person of desirable character by planting in them the good seed of virtue. Since we understand that a person's immediate surrounding plays the biggest role in shaping a person's character, it is, therefore, accurately truthful to assert that other people's influence and the nature of an individual's engagements in their daily lives have a massive impact on character building. Besides, the habitual expression or repression of certain traits cements or leads to a deterioration of character. Therefore, character building stems from the following factors: expression of desirable qualities of good character, daily activities that relate to an individual, other people's influence, habitual expression. It is believed that the primary way of nurturing a certain behavior by constantly practicing in a certain way. Similarly, a person who expresses themselves with good character traits or chooses to act in a show of desirable character cements the good character in their mind or subconsciously acquires the desirable qualities that amount to good character. On the contrary, a person who chooses to refrain from expressing the desirable qualities of good character or makes a deliberate decision to put on or adopt an expression of undesirable behavior, ends up losing the good in them and allows bad character, low character, or ignoble character to be the definition of self. As a result, the choice to act in a particular way determines the type of character that you engrave on your mind. If you choose to tread on the path of moral uprightness and positive mental attitude, then you automatically nurture good, high, strong, or noble character. On the other hand, deciding to follow the way of vice and not of virtue and keeping a negative mindset shapes a real, unadvisable character with you, bad, low, weak, and ignoble character. In order to nurture a strong character, good character, high character, or noble character, an individual ought to always embrace the practice of good habits and endearing themselves to ways that help them to acquire good habits. The two pillars of admirable character are work, moral imperative work in respect of the concept of character, and the idea of building character entails the following values: being proactive, setting up a goal to be accomplished; hard work, involvement in group activities, commitment to completing an initiative; positive attitude in the process of pursuing the initiative; total focus on what you do and intend to achieve in the end; readiness to endure challenging situations. Being proactive. To be proactive is the ability and willingness to take initiative. A proactive person always figures a way to fix problems. They are always a step ahead of the rest. They are in control of what happens around them and never allow events to catch them by surprise. Proactiveness enables an individual to anticipate potential situations and prepare adequately before their occurrence. They do neither hesitate nor procrastinate. Taking initiative is a no-brainer, and getting down to work is their first instinct when there is a need to work. Work can only be handled by a person who is mentally prepared to do something and is handled more efficiently when the approach is anchored on an optimistic disposition for desirable outcome. A proactive person has all the qualities that facilitate job handling and execution. It is a desirable trait and an essential component of work. Imagine a situation whereby an individual has the desire to work but is hesitant to get started, or they have all they need to work but keep procrastinating. Besides, you need to work but lack preparedness and readiness to take up responsibility. Worse still, you get down to work with crippling paranoia of likely obstacles and probable undesirable outcomes. Furthermore, you never anticipate potential events at any given moment. So, you are always caught unawares by situations. Let us be truthful here. We must anticipate situations and prepare adequately to face them. Also, we need to avoid hesitation and procrastination by being able to make quick, sound judgments and promptly take action. Therefore, being proactive is a key factor in handling work efficiently. Hard work, everyone works, not everyone works hard. Think of that former classmate who could just spend an hour of their free time studying, but waste away a whole afternoon treating pals to a charm of thrilling tale. This is more ridiculous than it is shocking. Instead of working more and just playing and interacting just enough, the guy simply opts for the opposite. Eventually, they expect to attain desirable results just like their colleagues who put in more effort. That can never happen. A teamwork to have team skills is the ability to work with others irrespective of individual potential, attitude, and perception. As essential as it is, teamwork is a quality that lacks so many individuals. Conflicts arise especially where there is a conflict of interest in a given undertaking, opposing views, and attitude towards work and one another. Consider a situation in which two people have to jointly do their laundry. Incidentally, they fail to agree on sharing responsibilities, fetching water, washing, rinsing, and hanging on the clothesline. Eventually, each one opts to work on their own. This is a clear show of lack of teamwork skills. It leads to conflict and drags the process of work due to unresolved disagreement. A person who desires to build a strong character must primarily embrace participation in group work. They must agree to disagree with the ultimate goal of eventually reaching common ground and achieving the ultimate objective. They need to approach each of the group's endeavors with a positive mental attitude and perceive disagreements as any normal challenge in the line of duty. A person of strong character, or that one who seeks to acquire a strong character, must be ready to respect other people's opinions, be flexible and adaptive to changing environments, and appreciate other people's contributions in any group undertaking. Besides, an individual must wholeheartedly handle what they are charged with and give their best for good results. Being able to work with others is one way of showing good character. Commitment to completing an initiative. You decide to work, and you actually get started. Do you have what it takes to complete it? Do you know that incomplete work is as fruitless as work not done? In fact, incomplete may paint you in bad light more than work that was never started. Everyone needs to know that the concept does not entertain experimentation unless experimentation the actual work. Better still, incomplete experimental work is a mere waste of resources and energy. For that reason, work must be performed with the aim of laying it to rest if and only if a given objective has been achieved. So, whatever you choose to do, make sure you do it to the end. Positive attitude would not wish to be a member of a sports team whose coach whisks players onto the pitch with the affirmation, "We won't win anyway." That is discouraging, and none among the players of that team gives their best in the game. They are demoralized because the one person who ought to have lit the fire inside of them put it off. The one that ought to have motivated them actually demotivated them, and the only source of inspiration turned out to be a distractive power. When you get down to work, go in there with one goal: to succeed. Let optimism be the firepower that drives you towards a desirable ending. Do not entertain Mr. Pessimism anywhere close to your working area. That way, you get to engage in fruitful pursuits that define you as an individual of positive attitude, working for a good cause. Total focus. It is a common habit for a distracted mind to get carried away by irrelevant activities outside of their intended working environment. Perhaps you have been a victim of a nostalgic moment that caused you to laugh out loud, for instance, inside of a quiet study room, like a library, only to draw the attention of the other facility users in shocking awe. So you were not 100% into the study thing. Clearly, you did miss out on a lot of valuable knowledge because of your disruptive, sweet memories. When working, allow your mind to perceive that work as the only activity you ought to handle in that particular moment. Focus, and give your total concentration to what you are doing. Concentration is an aspect of work that promises desirable results and an indication of admirable character. Readiness to endure challenges. Work is not leisurely. That is why you need to sweat, get dirty, get exhausted, and feel pain. It is not a walk in the park, And even when you do consider the bedroom as a workplace, work has never been and will never be a bed of roses. Actually, you need to convince your mind that work is a tough struggle and still be positive enough to face with the hope of overcoming it. Challenges are part and parcel of any endeavor. Some challenges are known, others foreseeable, while others simply pop up from nowhere. Whichever the case, it is imperative you have the preparedness and readiness to deal with challenges that emerge in the process of work. It is a sign of strong character and commitment to accomplishing a particular objective. Oral imperative: the most successful people in the world spend so much of their time and resources engaging in social community work, charity activities, and empowerment programs. They initiate and support programs that uplift and better the lives of other people, and use their personal experiences in the journey toward self-accomplishment as inspiration to others. That they constantly remind the disadvantaged that, in spite of turbulence and tribulations in life, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. This is moral. Undoubtedly, it is an aspect of nobility in the character of an individual. We see people who follow and obey rules strictly in their execution of tasks. The virtue of discipline guides them through each and every one of their day-to-day activities. They consider discipline to be a key factor in the process of any successful pursuit. Shortcuts are just not their cup of tea, even when such methods offer quick, smooth rides toward self-accomplishment. They choose the bumpy road, the long and winding roads, and tiresome approaches to work for what they aim to achieve. People of admirable character offer themselves and their resources for others. They regard self-sacrifice more than they value self-realization and personal accomplishment. Some members of society with a strong character could go as far as putting their lives on the line so that others could live. They are the kind that would feed the hungry with the little they have without thinking about how tomorrow might turn out to be a nightmare for them. If you ever wish to be remembered for a character of nobility, you need to live a life that values lives. You must perceive others with the regard with which you accord yourself. You must be ready to serve others, support them, and care for them. The ability to understand and respond positively to their needs is a great sign of strong, noble character, and to make this happen, always consider yourself a servant to others before offering service to self. That way, you guarantee yourself growth and self-improvement by constantly practicing good habits. In a nutshell, a person who solemnly desires to build a strong character must follow the path of morality, selflessness, and disciplined living by observing the following. Hold self-sacrifice above self-improvement. A. Be disciplined at all times. A. Be patient. Be humble. Be grateful. Self-sacrifice heroes and heroines are recognized not for excellence in their personal self-improvement pursuits, but for magnanimous contributions towards they made in society. They are acknowledged and celebrated for saving lives, improving lives, and improving the environment for better lives. If a person is intent on building character for a good cause, they must consider the impact of the outcomes of their different endeavors on the society as a whole, but not be the selfish kind that only cares about their personal accomplishment. A self-centered individual does not have a limitation on the degree of success they can attain at a personal level. But individuals who limit their pursuits to mere self-improvement end up developing enviable personalities without doing anything to strengthen their character, or unknowingly do things that seriously scar their personal characters. Selflessness is a clear sign of dedication to serving others. It is a determination to help others in spite of the challenges you have to deal with in your quest for self-improvement. On the other hand, self-centeredness affirms your determination to scale the heights of life's worthy pursuits with little or no care or concern for other people and keeping a blind eye to the apparent plight of those around you. A selfless person cares for others, works hard to make society better, and is sensitive to the influence of their life upon others. Self-sacrifice speaks volumes about an individual's character. It is an acknowledgement and open appreciation for the role that society and others play in a person's life. Since a good, strong character is built around virtue, self-sacrifice is a key building block in the whole process of building character, maintaining high standards of discipline. Everybody knows that there are devastating repercussions for breaking the law. Think of motor vehicle driver who deliberately flaunts traffic rules. If the long hand of the law gets a firm grip on them, then punitive measures are meted upon the traffic offender in the form of being heavily fined or serving a specified jail time without hesitation. At the same time, the journey could be cut short by the legal procedures upon arrest or delaying of critical activities. Discipline directs an individual in the path of straightness in the journey toward self-realization and achievement of their lives in life. It is a moral value that keeps emotions and mental attitude in check. It enables an individual to focus on a task with an settled mind that is prepared for any likely challenges, as well as patience to follow all procedures as required. The person does their work with a positive attitude that cannot be tempted to adopt unorthodox means or shortcuts for quick results. Disciplined person is at peace with the world around them and is hardly threatened by the unforgiving heavy hand of the law. Discipline enables an individual to have patience. This helps them to remain committed to a cause even when the journey seems to be long and tough. A person with discipline observes all procedural requirements in their execution of tasks, which enables them to be optimistic of favorable results due to minimized chances of making errors. In addition, maintaining high discipline standards portrays a person as an individual of good standing within society. As a result, constant expression of discipline, just like practicing of a good, is imperative in cultivating and cementing a good, strong, and noble character. Humility are you, that big-headed person who looks down upon those who have not achieved as much as you. Kindly do not be blinded by your achievements to the point of forgetting that situations change. Succeeding in one thing does not guarantee that you are destined to succeed in everything. For instance, a career. Accomplished couple looks at their struggling neighbors with disdain, but eventually ends up losing grip on their only child, who gets serving a life sentence in jail as a convict of terrorism charges. In spite of their stellar career, man and woman spend sleepless nights in their expensive mansion thinking about their child situation as a result of their own terrible parenting. It is outright lack of wisdom to despise others, mistreat them, or isolate yourself because of your many achievements in life. There is no way an individual becomes successful without the contribution of others, directly or indirectly. Furthermore, succeeding in life does not make anybody self-sufficient. You need others regardless of your financial status, amount of wealth, and other personal accomplishments. Even with all that you have, you still need the goodwill of others to retain it. Gratitude you recover from a chronic illness, then move on like nothing just happened. And when you get that government scholarship to pursue studies in that you prayed hard, waited and waited for with bated breath, still life continues like before, and you're only concerned now acquiring what is needed for college life. Even your child makes their first step of walking experience after months of crawling, but then again to you that is just fine. It is not fine. It is the act of taking things for granted, and is neither a trait for a person of good character, nor is it a God habit for that person who is desperate to also acquire that admirable character. So, the requirement that we need to appreciate every little thing that happens in ourselves is real. We all need to be sensitive to what is happening around us and appreciate whatever is of value and significance to our growth, physically, mentally, and emotionally. We must learn to appreciate everything that marks a moment of success or progress in our lives. Moreover, everyone should know that as a human, we are social beings. We cannot thrive in either seclusion or exclusion. We cannot get rid of others or separate ourselves from others completely, because that would mean creating an immovable barrier in our way of success. Perhaps we depend on others more than they depend on us. We influence one another in ways that sometimes we cannot imagine. In some cases, other people insist to be what we are even without a slight clue of what they are doing. People shape one another's dreams, aspirations, ambition, and vision differently. Those who hurt us teach us the great lesson that we need to be men and women of great mental strength to survive in this life. On the other hand, the ones who support us remain to be an inspiration to lead lives with a positive mental attitude that makes us hopeful and confident for the future. Therefore, we must be grateful for how and what others contribute to shape our lives and influence us to be who we are. Furthermore, appreciation of self is as motivating as it is necessary to face the future with optimism. Primarily, self-evaluation above others is just the one source of inspiration that we need to engage in life's promising pursuits. It is imperative that we regard ourselves highly to boost our confidence and ultimately boost our esteem. This is immensely important because it fires up towards self-realization in a uniquely positive manner. However, appreciating yourself should not be the beginning of your outright downplaying of other people's role in your endeavors. The influence of everyday occurrences on character building. Do you know that what is happening around you is powerful enough to shape your character? Yes, everything that happens in your life alters something about you, slightly or otherwise. That is what we are going to call the influence of environment in character building. There are things in life within our control, others are plainly beyond our control, but we still have to deal with them on a daily basis. Consider the following. A volcano erupts and magma covers your entire crop field. You wake up one morning to the news that your university scholarship has been terminated. You are walking down the road on your way to the workplace, trips and fall. Incidentally, you cannot walk because the unexpected fall somehow got your left leg broken. Your long-lost uncle shows up unexpectedly with news that he came to pay all your outstanding college fees. Any things happen in life, and they bring along numerous impacts on people's lives. Whereas some influence to live positively, others have detrimental effects that might permanently destroy people's dreams and ambitions. Some of the major occurrences that play a significant role in character building include the following. Tragedies, normal events of life. Tragedies, accidents may occur as a result of human error or natural disasters. Take, for instance, a fire that starts right in the middle of someone's sugarcane plantation and consumes everything in it. Worse still, think of that factory worker whose right arm is chopped off while performing their normal machine operation job. Or a terrorist attack in which some close family members are killed. How do you face such occurrences? Better still, how do such occurrences affect your life? Clearly, dealing with accidents is a difficult undertaking considering the damage, inconvenience, and interference to a person's normal way of life. The devastation takes a toll on an individual's emotional stability, mental attitude, and general perception towards life. People of strong character have the courage to face even the most difficult of moments in life. Equally, an individual who is ordinarily perceived to be weak can build a good reputation by putting on a show of courage and rare strength in the face of adversity. True leadership capacity is always put to test when tragedies befall a given group of persons. Members of the group have their eyes firmly fixed on their leader's response to the tragedy. Such moments require decisive leadership that is not hesitant to make compromises and offer quick problem-solving measures. A good leader should also be willing to shed off chunks of pride to allow other group members to openly criticize leadership and suggest more effective alternative ways of handling the situation. In this way, people express desirable character as well as build an individual into a person of value not only to themselves but also to society as a whole. Normal life events, day-to-day activities play a very crucial role in building and shaping a person's character. Do you spend your entire day doing something worthwhile? Or you just idle around eating, drinking, and playing computer games? Do you ever get involved in community activities such as market cleaning or hanging out with homeless children somewhere in a children's home? Do you spend your holiday with your family? Or are you the type that only sees the fun and leisure in drinking and partying away from home and family on such occasions? What you do is a true reflection of your character. It is a clear showing of the engraved mark on your mind. It is a true picture of your values and emotions that reflect the real you. Reckless behavior is a quality of undesirable character. It is typical of self-centered persons without moral standing, as well as a sign of lack of direction and sense of purpose in life. On the contrary, people of good character show discipline and are sensitive to the impact of their choices and act on their progress toward self-accomplishment as well as on the well-being of others. Furthermore, normal life events involve tasks that come with many challenges. To show and build a good character, you have to show absolute preparedness and positive mental attitude as you face those challenges. You consider such challenges as part of a task that deserves to be handled with the utmost efficiency in order to complete a given task successfully. The building of a strong character depends on the habitual expression of positive mental attitude and endearing yourself to a life of self-sacrifice and discipline. You should always keep in mind that good character is built around a life defined by virtue, other people's influence. There is pleasure in leading a life of pure solitude. In fact, solitude existence is punitive that serves to derail an individual's normal way of life for some goal. We all depend on one another in one way or the other. As a result, there is a way in which another person plays a role in another's life, even without the other one knowing. This is true even in the process of character formation and shaping in individuals. We can never forget to remind ourselves of the famous statement, "Watch the company that you keep." This is crucial in helping us to remember the very important facts that must be held dear in order for us to lead a life that is expected of us as per the society's laid down standards, rules, and regulations. The society is composed of people with different behaviors: good, bad, disgusting, pleasant, admirable, hated, and many more. Considering that people influence one another in different ways, hanging around people with a certain trait makes you a potential victim of that habit. If the habit is undesirable, you risk acquiring it and consequently becoming as undesirable as the donating agent. If you are lucky to enjoy the company of the few well-cultured individuals, then you stand a great chance of acquiring their admirable qualities and eventually turning out to be equally as admirable as the donating source. Friendships must be formed for mutual benefits. We live in a give-and-take society. When you benefit from a relationship by acquiring certain good qualities, the other party benefits by getting motivated to even do better in carrying on the good character traits. By so doing, everyone benefits by building and cultivating a desirable character. To nurture a strong and good character, a person needs to spend a significant part of their time in the company of people with such character. Emulate their actions and general behaviors in how you live and perform your day-to-day activities so as to grow and nurture the good quality of character in you. Apparently, repression of such qualities is as good as acquiring and nurturing the opposite trait. Effective learning is through expression, not by repression. What you hold inside eventually wanes and ultimately disappears into thin air. On the contrary, constant expression ensures that you get the qualities engraved in your subconscious mind. Finally, they become normal and crucial aspects of your life. Chapter 4. Develop a positive mindset. The way we perceive things determines how we approach them. When we choose to see life with an eye of negativity, we end up carrying a negative attitude in everything that is meant to shape our lives. On the other hand, when we choose to look at life with positivity, we subconsciously embrace a positive attitude towards life and everything that adds to its value. A positive attitude is summarized by positive thinking and optimistic disposition in an individual's worthy pursuits in life. So, what is positive thinking? Positive thinking refers to a mental attitude in which a person anticipates good and desirable results. That is to say that positive thinking is a process which creates a thought that generates and favorably changes energy into reality. A positive mind always looks forward to healthy being, happiness, and desirable endings regardless of the situation. Positive thinking is highly helpful in the case of stress management and is believed to improve a person's health. Positive thinking works hand in hand with the personality trait of optimism. Optimism is a key aspect that, to a large extent, makes positive thinking an effective means of stress management. Fundamentally, positive thinking is profoundly beneficial to a person's mental health because of its power to erase unnecessary fears and negative thoughts that lead to depression and stress. The opposite of positive thinking is negative thinking. So, what is negative thinking? Negative thinking is a mental attitude that derails a person's mind to only consider worst-case scenarios in practically every situation. It is a thought process whereby an individual solely perceives the worst in every situation. Negative thinking brings along pessimism, which leads to a feeling of hopelessness whereby a person only anticipates undesirable outcomes. It leads to self-dehumanization by loss of self-belief in oneself and a sharp dip in one's self-esteem. Negative thinking is a recipe for crippling stress, a phenomenon that can only be reversed by positive thinking and belief in oneself. People with a positive mind do not have defeat. In their mental dictionary, they are not daunted by impeding obstacles as they chase their dreams and work towards accomplishing their goals in life. In addition, a person who thinks positively does not only strive for excellence and personal glory, he or she is a positive influence on other people. He sees the good in others and tries to encourage them to be optimistic even in the most difficult situations. Ordinarily, everyone faces tricky moments in life. Some situations are detrimental to a person's ordinary life, so much that hopelessness seems to be the only share of spoils left of them. However, there are a few individuals who have a rare kind of tenacity that enables them to go through devastating moments, but still, they emerge with the energy to forge ahead. They have positive attitudes towards life. Just like any other normal habit, a person can learn how to acquire and practice positive thinking. This can be realized in a number of ways. They include the following: Understand that you always choose how you perceive life because you are in control of your own attitude at all times. Mind your language, especially how you talk about yourself. Always remember to put a smile on your face, even during the worst moments of your life. Do not allow yourself to be dragged back into your dark past. Hang around people who see good in themselves, in others, and most importantly, in you. Learn from your failures and apply the knowledge in your present endeavors. Always start the day with a positive affirmation. Challenge yourself to try and discover new things. See the good in others. Acquiring a positive attitude is not a walk in the park. It is a long process, consistent work, and determination. It is a journey for anybody who desires to turn their daily gloom into optimism and endless happiness, even in the face of adversity. A positive mindset guarantees a significant boost in confidence, improved mood, and a reduction in stress-related disorders such as high blood pressure and depression. Positive thinking should walk hand in hand with commitment and determination. An optimistic mind generates a rush of positive energy that powers a person to dedicate themselves, their time, and their resources towards fulfilling a given objective. Therefore, a person with a positive attitude has the ability to cope with daily affairs easily, looks to the future with optimism, and their minds are free of anxiety and negative thoughts. Ultimately, positive thinking sires transform an individual's life and fill it with happiness through success. Control your attitude. Let us consider a scenario in which two students are instructed to march into the principal's office without further information. Student A gets angry and feels interrupted during his study session. He hesitantly walks into the principal's office feeling wasted and disturbed by this unexpected call. On the other hand, student B responds quickly and promptly walks calmly towards the principal's office. Even without digging deep into the two students' discussions with the principal, it is pretty obvious how the day ended for both of them. From the above illustration, it is rather evident that every person chooses how they view every situation. Whereas some choose to approach most of their situations with negativity, others gladly embrace every moment with a positive attitude. Therefore, it goes without saying that everyone is always in control of their attitude towards every situation. Every person needs to clearly understand how attitude affects their life. Your attitude towards life determines whether to live happily or accept gloom as a portion of your daily life. It may be difficult to absolutely control what comes your way, but it is all within your power to control how you respond to whatever comes your way. Controlling your attitude includes talking or thinking about people and events in a certain way. When you talk or think about others or events in a negative way, you will an appreciable amount of time perceiving them in a bad light. Everyone can develop and nurture positive thinking by simply getting in the habit of thinking and talking about things and other people with a positive attitude. It brings peace of mind and helps to grow and improve relationships with others, as well as improve performance in the workplace. A person who is incapable of controlling their attitude cannot even be able to control their emotion. Such a person finds it hard to hold back their emotions and normally react uncontrollably towards challenging situations. They are prone to knee-jerk reactions during moments of anguish, pain, and grief. They are quick to judge and easily blame others, sometimes from a point of misinformation or total ignorance. Associate with people with a positive mindset. Parents never forget to remind their children about who they should walk to school and they should not. In school, concerned teachers keep an eagle's eye on individual students' association with peers. At times, you do find a teacher seeking audience simply to warn them against hanging some of their classmates. When a person is perceived to be of unacceptable behavior or moral standing, there is a general feeling to turn away from others and completely cut links with them. It is possible to hear a child being warned against going to the home of so-and-so or else risk stern disciplinary measures. Commonly, some students receive worrying warnings against being friends with some classmates unless they wish to end up as losers. In other cases, parents go out of their way to choose friends for their children, normally through family friendships. Some children even end up in marriage with some individuals largely because of their parents' doing. Nevertheless, things happen the way they do as a result of a person or people understanding the power of relationships and influence that one may have on another. It is evident with a particular trait, desirable or otherwise, may infect another with it through constant social interaction. A person's character can be known by simply understanding the person's close friends. Since the character is directly linked to a person's attitude, It is quite easy to tell the kind of attitude the person possesses. In most cases, people choose like-minded persons for friends. However, it is possible to connect with people who have a trait that you admire even when you do not have it, as long as you are determined to acquire it. When you have the conviction to turn over a new leaf and embrace positive thinking for self-improvement, choosing to hang around people with a positive mind is no-brainer. Truly, an individual's close allies have a remarkable influence on their mental attitude. When you embark on the journey to redeeming yourself from the chains of negative thinking, it becomes mandatory to keep with a negative mindset at bay. It is necessary to cut out people who can the negative side of you. When you spend significant time with people whose motto is living happy, you automatically find yourself getting happier. In a situation where you find others judging you harshly so as to make you feel bad about yourself, openly ignore them and remember that the only thing that matters is your own opinion of yourself. Learn to value and appreciate yourself even when no one else does. When you constantly relate with people who have a positive attitude toward views, affirmation, and outlooks, subconsciously begin to alter your line of thinking and points you in the way of positive living. It is also important to keep in mind that it is good to try as much as you can to influence others in a positive way and gratefully allow them to influence you in the same way. Adopt positive self-talk. Do you ever spare a minute or even a few seconds of your precious time to think about how you feel about yourself? Do you care how you subconsciously talk about every day? Perhaps you never take a moment to think about your own opinion of yourself, and you never care to even imagine how you constantly perceive yourself. This is self-talk, which is the subconscious talk about ourselves. No one really cares to pay attention to things of which significance is unknown. In most cases, the human mind records an unknown truth as inexistent. That is why it may be an admissible mistake to find it excusable for the lack of concern about our perceptions of ourselves. Most of us do not understand the monstrous influence of self-talk. As normal humans, we do have conversations with ourselves from time to time. The conversations are powerful enough to influence how we perceive ourselves and the way we react in different situations. As such conversations within our souls may be helpful or detrimental to our lives. Self-talk occurs naturally throughout a human's existence. It exists in two forms, positive and negative self-talk. Whereas positive self-talk helps an individual by curbing negative emotions and boosts confidence in oneself, negative self-talk builds upsetting thoughts that arise from frustrating events and turn the mind into a breeding ground for stress, depression, and anxiety. Imagine a lady who says, "I'm too fat. He won't marry me." His is a statement of hopelessness. It is an expression of despair that has been formed in the mind and not on material evidence. No one says there is a common taste for men when it comes to relationships with members of the opposite. It is plain truth that fatness may be a turn-on for some men. Instead of looking at her body with such disdain, she simply ought to understand the dangers of fatness and figure out how to address the issue accordingly. Challenge yourself. Do you need to do something else besides what you are doing, or you have already done? Do you feel accomplished and okay in your current situation? Do you wish to try a new trick in performing your ordinary task? The list of such queries may be endless. However, the nature of responses may vary from individual to individual, depending on how they think about success. To most people, success is just a moment or incident of excellence. To others, success is a quest. However, the definition of success cannot be handled at a person's pleasure. There may be successes in various endeavors in a person's life, but that does not amount to a successful life. A success in life is a sum total of small and scattered successes that amount to a final moment of self-accomplishment, happiness, admiration, love, and comfort in a general sense. Even when a person feels totally accomplished, they still need to endlessly strive to maintain their status. One way of making this a reality is by deliberately putting yourself on a challenge. People always have room for growth, self-improvement. To do that, there is always a requirement to keep learning. In order to challenge yourself, deliberately assume new responsibilities, try out something totally new, set out to learn a new skill, or take a shot at playing a new game. There is no harm in deviating a little bit from your normal routine. This habit nurtures in you stronger and exposes you to a whole new world where you can appreciate different phenomena outside your area of specialization. You also get to appreciate what other people when you experience the other people's day-to-day life firsthand. In addition, the new skill that you just acquired or discovery that you made may surprisingly prove invaluable in your own quest. Positive affirmation. Did you know that a beginning plays a highly significant role in the outcome of any undertaking? The way you set off your day determines how you wind up the day. If you choose to wake up early in the morning with a gloomy face, darkens almost every aspect of your whole day. On the other hand, jumping off your bed in high spirits activates a vibrant mood for the better part of your day. To ensure that you do not turn out to be an innocent victim of bad beginning, define a simple, positive affirmation that energizes you early enough before any disturbing event that may dampen your moods and damage your day, or cripple your ability to execute fundamental duties and perform important tasks in a way that is desirable. When you make it a habit to start off your day with the affirmation, "What a beautiful day! Thank you, God," and you get accustomed to beginning your days with optimism and gratitude for the gift of life and the privilege to see a new day, it enables you to desist from taking things for granted and nurtures a habit of gratefulness, a trait that portrays positive thinking, which is a crucial component of any ambitious undertaking. Think of a person who wakes up with a habit of saying, "I think something is wrong. I don't like this day." The fact that someone declares their dislike for the day, a complete lack of optimism, and a feeling of doubt make it immensely difficult to handle anything with goodwill. The person lacks faith in the success of the day's activities and does not have the confidence to deal with challenges courageously. In the end, they fail to put in any effort when things in the face of challenging situation. They give in easily and do not commit to the plan for the attainment of set objectives. In light of this, people ought to be encouraged to acquire the habit of embracing positive affirmation in any situation so as to remove negative emotions and a pessimistic attitude that only derails the stability of the mind and ultimately lead to unfavorable outcomes. Begin your day, simple task, or endeavor with positive affirmation, then sit back, relax, and enjoy how amazing everything turns out to be. Learn from failures and bad experiences. What makes success so sweet and uniquely? I understand that only a handful have a clue about the one thing that makes success a highly coveted accomplishment. Its rarity or life's uncountable and inevitable failures and unbearable situations that people endure is what decorates success, giving it that special look. Surprising as it may be, failure deserves the credit for making success the most sought-after goal in every person's life. Embracing failure as a good habit for a success-minded person may sound like the most ridiculous thing in the whole world, but truth be told, failure is inevitable and is part of everyone's journey towards a desirable ending. No single successful individual confesses to never having a taste of failure in their quest for self-fulfillment. As they say, no one is perfect. In simple words, every human being is prone to making mistakes. We all make mistakes and fail from time to time, but that does not prevent us from succeeding, depending on how we respond to failure. One person will fail at some point and swiftly conclude that they can't. Another one will make a mistake and fail, but will not quit the race, but keep trying to the end. What does that mean? It simply means that the choice to get back up when you fall is purely discrete. You may opt to continue lying on the ground and spring up, dust yourself off, and hit the road again. In short, embracing failure may just be one of the most important good habits for a person who is ambitious and determined to make something out of their life. When you embrace failure and devastating challenges in life, you allow your mind to accept situations as they are and take them important lessons for tasks ahead. Focus on the present. More often than not, we go through experiences that are only discouraging, if not disappointing. They demoralize and drain us of the energy we would otherwise channel towards more productive pursuits. We may end up as weary, deluded beings incapable of efficiency. In some cases, these frustrating experiences cause depression, stress, and anxiety that render us ineffective and ultimately short of expectation. For example, when your boss describes you as a liability to your employer for whatever reason, your esteem dips significantly. Your self-worth declines sharply, with negative thoughts creeping, especially negative self-talk whose impact is detrimental. You may instantly become a victim of stress, get self-pity, and deteriorate in general health, a situation that renders you inefficient. For an individual to get over such devastations, They need to solely redirect their focus on the present rather than the recent past or even the most immediate future. They should ignore what has just happened to them and stop worrying about what may just happen soon. They should pay attention about their present moment only and think about the good things that may arise from their present undertaking. Normally, the present may not be as bad as it appears to be. By understanding that bad memories of the past and anticipation of a challenging are the major sources of negative, a person gets in a position of being able to ignore their terrible pasts and likely undesirable futures. By doing this, an individual draws the power from within to stay in the present and enjoy the visible good aspects of the moment. Be proactive when you are habituated to setting things in motion, but not existing as a mere reactive person to environmental changes. You are proactive. You are always a step ahead, and you don't let situations to take control of your life. You anticipate, predict accurately, and adequately prepare for possible events. You are not the kind of person that always responds to what life has to offer. Instead, you rightly choose and determine what constitutes your life through action. So, a proactive person is a person who is ever ready for what is to come. He does not wait for or allow things to happen to them. They stock up sufficient resources and spare sufficient time for impending unfolding. Such are the sort of people who hold their destinies firmly in their own hands. They are always taking precautionary measures to effectively handle likely challenging occurrences. Their sense of preparedness makes them relaxed and positive towards their future. When you make it a habit to always react to events in your life, you get used to the undesirable behavior of rushing to fix things without sufficiently getting prepared, limited resources, and a lack of full understanding of facts concerning the situation. This is sometimes a recipe for additional tricky moments due to a shambolic attempt to address the problem. You are disorganized, disorderly, and jittery. You are incapable of complete focus due to anxiety because of your unpreparedness, and plainly unsure of the effectiveness of your tactical approach in handling the situation. Being proactive is immensely beneficial. It guarantees preparedness even before an event takes place. When you foresee and pre-plan for a potential situation, you automatically get the incentive of saving time and money by getting to do things early. Last-minute rush normally leads to wastage of resources and time because you will be working under pressure without proper organization or orderliness. In addition, being proactive alleviates problems because you are to uncover potential conflict before they occur, allowing you ample time to minimize your exposure to it. Besides, a proactive person sees ahead and learns to embrace change in respect to future situations, step out of their comfort zone, and be flexible in facing different situations in life. Furthermore, being proactive is the primary step towards self-improvement and awareness. Get to understand the essence of long-term planning, set clear goals for the future, and enjoy peace of mind in the pursuit of success. You do not just wake up one bright morning and decide to be proactive because it is a habit that must be acquired through a commitment to learning. It is a journey that involves a deliberate move to learn and the decision to get started. You must learn how to prepare for situations long before they happen. Also, get into the habit of handling crucial tasks within specific timeframes and strict deadlines. Do not allow yourself to always react to situations even when you could have done something before. Furthermore, always learn to focus on the present moment and the crucial event in play. Do not allow distractions to take a toll on your focus and concentration. Dedicate your whole mind and time to one task till completion. Besides, understand that you have the discretion to determine your attitude and the inherent ability to choose. Allow positive thinking to dominate your mind and get in the driver's seat of your own life. Simply do not allow situations to determine how you live. Decide that you are the person to determine how situations unfold and that the future is in your hands. This way, you will be able to approach life positively, and the fruits are evident. Chapter 5. Strengthening your mental attitude. The affirmation that we are emotional beings is as indisputable as it is true to say that every human believes in something. We also have values that guide us through our day-to-day engagements with one another as well as our involvement in the undertaking of personal communal significance. In light of this, we may simply refer to mental attitude to be a complex state of the mind that comprise of beliefs, values, dispositions, and emotions that control an individual's behavior and general conduct. Entail attitude may be positive or negative, considering that it determines how a person acts. The negative mental attitude would automatically lead an individual in acting in ways that are generally considered unacceptable with high anticipation for unfavorable outcomes. On the other hand, positive mental attitude brings optimism into life that normally brings desirable transformations to people. According to Napoleon Hill, a positive mental attitude is a philosophy which asserts that the approach of situations with optimistic disposition attracts positive change and increases chances of succeeding. Just as it is necessary to work hard and smart, is equally as important to approach every situation with an optimistic attitude plus a highly strategic approach to increase chances of achieving a given goal with desirable result. For this reason, there is a need for a person with curiosity and determination must exhibit a strong and highly intelligent mental attitude. As we are all aware, sheer hard work without creative imagination may complicate performance and demotivate a person and ultimately bring undesirable results. Similarly, however, positive-minded an individual is, a degree of intelligence is essential, especially in challenging moments. Both cognitive intelligence and emotional intelligence must be harnessed sufficiently so as to devise creative ways of finding a way around difficult situations. Intelligence complements the will and inner desire to accomplish a goal. Intelligence is merely a plus, but mental toughness and commitment are mandatory. Therefore, it is important to have a strong and intelligent mental attitude in the quest for accomplishment and self-improvement. But how do you just get to acquire this invaluable habit? The following are a few techniques to put you on course to getting mentally tough, while be emotionally stable at all times. Embrace change when it is clearly inevitable. Keep your troubles in proper perspective. Do not take things personally. Have resilience in the face of adversity. Prepare for challenges. Pay more attention on long-term outcomes. Learn to move on when you must. Just do what is right with little concern about others have to say, and defend what you stand for. Be patient. Do not expect instant results for what you do. Always be in control of your emotions and actions. Accept the things you cannot change. Accept failure and learn from it. Remain positive, even when the surrounding is fraught with negativity. Be content with what you have achieved and what you expect to accomplish in future. Never give up. Do not switch lanes unnecessarily. All be true to your course. Aim high. Exercise your mind constantly. Universally, the greatest leadership test appears in the face of enormous adversity. The response, actions, and emotional state bring to light the toughness and intelligence of the leader's mental attitude. A shaky, indecisive, and highly subjective response shows a weak and unintelligent mental attitude. On the other hand, a calm, decisive, objective, and creative approach to such challenging situations is a true portrayal of sheer, strong, and intelligent mental attitude. Also, what happens to us contributes very little towards our happiness and quest for success, but our response to what happens contributes immensely towards our happiness and success. Therefore, it is imperative to prepare adequately for tomorrow's God knows what by adopting a life of good habits of a positive attitude. Emotional stability. Every individual faces a moment in which they have to make crucial decisions under immense pressure. An emotionally stable mind enables you to make sound judgments objectively and guarantee favorable outcomes in spite of the challenges that you are facing. Amazingly, you find it soothingly convenient to act normally even when obstacles appear constantly on the road to success. People suffer losses of their loved ones. Many more lose property and valuable items through natural disasters and malicious damage by others. Some have to endure heartbreaking relationship issues. Others have to deal with devastating disease plagues that lead to health deterioration. Regardless of challenges and painful experiences that people have to face, it is normal to expect them to lead lives with a positive attitude. They have no reason to give up because anyone who has the ability to breathe always has something to offer. Even physically incapacitated person, a bed-ridden patient, may still find a way to make something out of their life. Even though they cannot perform normal activities as before, they do have a chance to inspire others with the mental with which they face their ordeal. They can still be examples of optimism, hope, and inspiration despite their challenging circumstances. Constantly handling situations with rare emotional strength toughens your mental attitude and positions you firmly to handle even more challenging situations. It strengthens your mind to believe that all troubling situations are just like any other normal task and view all of them with the same eye. It is a sign of great mental strength and a positive way to take an individual through some of the most unbearable moments in life. Strong mental attitude helps you keep challenges in proper perspective without deviating from your cause. Readiness for change. It is commonly believed that a person who has the ability to hold on to beliefs and values has a strong mental attitude. This may be true, but there are situations when such kind of behavior shows rigidity of mind and inability to embrace change. Being flexible and adaptable to a constantly changing environment mostly indicate positive mental attitude, which is a necessary trait for personal growth. There is no need to hold on to practices, methods, and strategies that have become obsolete or largely ineffective when other, more effective techniques are available. It is similarly unwise to continue handling a given task the same way when prevailing conditions and operating environment have dramatically taken a new twist. It is important to adapt to the changing environment by adopting new strategies and approaches when the landscape changes or a process requires readjustment. It takes courage and mental strength to embrace new ideas and actually implement them. Learn from failures. Failure, in most cases, is a source of embarrassment and disappointment, not only to the person but also in the face of the larger society. The negativity that stems from failure detrimentally impacts on a person's self-confidence and self-belief. It may result in negative self-talk and unavoidable doubt in one's abilities and strength. A person with a strong mental attitude is capable of drawing useful lessons from failures and inspiration from challenging situations. They are able to endure moments of turbulent situations with zeal to accomplish the ultimate goal. They must have the conviction to try until they eventually get things right. These are people who do not give up in spite of the apparent mental torture that accompanies failure. Strong mental attitude is acquired through repeated endurance of unbearable emotional and mental burdens. It is then sustained through habitual self-testing undertakings, through voluntary mind-exercising activities, which involve a deliberate decision to take on a difficult challenge with the aim of pursuing it to the end. Apply self-validation. Perhaps you have been hesitant and indecisive as a child to bring your rusty, emaciated friend home because your parents would never approve of your friendship with such a dirty and miserable child. You know that is harsh, immoral of your parents, but you do not wish to fall short of their expectations, so you opt to keep inviting some idiots of your class into your lavish home just to impress your parents with perfect company that you are keeping. That is even worse than your parents' attitude towards the less fortunate, because your conscience does not approve of it. Mentally strong and intelligent persons listen more to their hearts, more than they listen to other people. They obey their conscience and always seek to do what is right, and are ever ready to defend their stand regardless of backlash from opposing forces. They think independently and are strictly open to useful advice only. They do not live according to other people's standards, but individually set their own standards in life. People who are mentally strong and intelligent heavily rely on their own emotions, values, and optimistic dispositions to undertake life's crucial pursuits. They do not look at others with disdain. They are open to constructive criticism and new ways of thinking. They do not lock doors to other people, but selectively embrace what they cognitively consider to be useful. Besides, they utilize their emotional intelligence to convince others they matter in spite of the apparent sense of reason, perception of life, and chosen paths for self-fulfillment. To grow a strong and intelligent mental attitude, it is mandatory to practice the concept of self-validation that helps you to focus solely on pursuing success with a clean conscience instead of bowing down to external pressure only to regret your actions later. You should figure out a smart way to politely convince others of the likely positive results of your cause so as to maintain good relations with others. Remain in control. I'm pretty sure you have once in your life resorted to fasting, not because you are after some sort of spiritual fulfillment, but simply as an expression that is painfully hurtful. It is unfortunately self-inflicted. It is silly, time-wasting and wasting of oneself. Just imagine the time you threw away by allowing anger and resentment to eat you up and distract you from the many useful pursuits you would have engaged in. Think about the many things you might have done half-heartedly and grudgingly. Do you think they bore fruits? Even if you got some good results, I am certain the results were not as desirable as the ones you would have obtained working with a calm, relaxed mind and positive attitude towards the work. Everyone must learn to take charge of their emotions and actions. It is never a good habit to relinquish the control of your emotions and decision-making to others. person's strength dwells in their ability to control how they respond to different events in their lives. You must be able to face challenges and handle them objectively without taking things personally. It is also important to remain firmly on track by staying fully focused on the ultimate prize. Embrace contentment. So you just have enough cash to either buy an apartment or a car. You want both, but can only have one. So you start complaining that you cannot have both the car and the apartment. You end up not buying either of them, but keep spending the money little by little till it becomes insufficient to purchase neither a car nor an apartment. You miss out on both. That is the kind of situation in which some people deliberately get themselves into because of wanting more than they can afford. They are not content with the little they have, so they spend a great deal of their time whining and blaming circumstances for what they lack. They fail to appreciate the little they have because they solemnly want what they cannot get. In some cases, these people end up losing even the little that they have. One very simple way of learning how to develop a strong and intelligent mental attitude is by learning to be content in life. You must appreciate and embrace your past and present achievements, and then strive to achieve more. Do not strain your mind by frowning and wearing a somber mood for the bad moments and failures when there is so much that you need to appreciate and be happy for. Prepare for challenges. Consider a parent whose child is completing high school at the end of the year. The least we should expect of a responsible father or mother is to expect his or her child to qualify for college admission next year. An irresponsible parent and an outright pessimist may, from time to time, doubt the possibility that their child has what it takes to qualify for admission into an institution of higher learning. And in situations where a child is exceptionally hardworking and destined for excellence, the irresponsible parent has it in their genes to figure out a way to think and face the situation with pessimism. They may constantly burden themselves with devastating feeling about unbearable college admission and tuition fees, that they constantly run around whining about the extortionary fees charged in colleges and universities while doing nothing to find funds for the child's college fee. When we prepare adequately for potential situations, we minimize the chances of painful struggles and disappointing outcomes when they actually come to pass. They find us prepared and ready to handle them with a more positive attitude. Essentially, we are firmly in control of our own lives and do not let situations determine we live. We do not allow things to happen to us, but make things happen in certain because of a sharp foresight and prior preparation. Proactive person does not only live by the grace, but also takes the initiative to define their desired future and institutes measures that allow them to determine the course of their own life. Such a person anticipates situations and creatively crafts an effective strategy to deal with challenges that are inseparable with the expected situation. They do not sit back and wait for something to happen. They take actions to ensure such situations do not lead to devastation or a disruption of their normal way of life. When a person gets habituated to making preparations and prior arrangements for likely occurrences, they subconsciously begin to accept that life's challenges are normal and are able to grow more and more positive in performing their day-to-day tasks. This is a clear indication that the person's mental attitude is growing tougher. The fact that they also find it easy to creatively devise creative ways of handling uniquely challenging situations in life. Exercise patience. We cannot talk about patience and forget to remind ourselves of one very famous quote: "Rome was not built in a day." Truly, there's nothing worthwhile that is achievable in the blink of an eye. Good things take time to materialize. Just like the number of years determines the fineness of wine, the more the years, the finer the wine. A process that consumes more resources, time, and requires more precision turns out to be more valuable than a similar process that requires fewer inputs and commitment. Whereas patience is a quality of a strong mental attitude, its expression is a vital means of growing and strengthening it. Strong and intelligent mental attitude is depicted through hard work and endurance. You do not expect instant results, but rather follow a step-by-step procedure in the implementation process towards a worthy cause. It is quite undesirable to have a habit of expecting immediate results, a situation that may be sufficiently tempting to rush things to fruition before the ideal moment. The practice of patience when implementing time-consuming processes does not only strengthen their mental attitude but also provides room for calmness and peace mind that makes the whole process a smooth ride. Patience rids the course of action of mental obstacles that would channel negativity in the endeavor to render unnecessarily challenging. Besides, a patient soul firmly holds onto the conviction to achieve, and the determination pushes you through. It endears a boldness that fires through thick and thin, to pursue your cause to completion. Such is an expression of the strength of mental attitude that hugely serves to engrave the trait even firmly to the mind. Chapter 6. Make your studying interesting. As important as it is, studying might be one of the hardest things that anyone has to handle. Unfortunately, there are so many disruptive factors that make studying quite unexciting, despite the fact it is the most important means by which learners acquire knowledge, skills, ideas, and general exposure to their world. A person who is demotivated from studying attempts, struggles, and eventually finds it unbearable. When it comes to a point when one cannot take it anymore, the journey to knowledge acquisition is abruptly cut short. A feeling of hopelessness creeps in, ambition vanishes, confidence disappears into thin air, and the quest to a fulfilled, happy life instantly hits a dead end. Studying equips an individual with the necessary resources to fight through the tedious journey to self-accomplishment. Therefore, it is paramount to do everything possible to ensure that a person's strive for excellence does not unnecessarily come to a halt. The motivation of a person to pursue studies to the highest level is highly pertinent. This needs to begin from when a child reaches school-going age and must continue throughout a person's life until advanced age dictates a different way of living. Motivation of a person to study can be accomplished in a number of ways. They include the following: understanding the essence of studying. A. Preparation for study. Procrastination, study schedule, setting study goals. A. Set your goal for the study session. Reward yourself after achieving each goal. Know the ultimate gain from studying. Choosing the ideal study environment. Accessing the right study materials. Replenishing the body and mind of used up energy. Rehydrate constantly. Eat some light food to re-energize the body. Avoiding distraction while studying. Avoid computers and phones. Stay away from distractive persons. Choose carefully the kind of cloth you wear. The importance of studying. Little children are encouraged to go to school because that is where doctors, pilots, engineers, lawyers, and other career-accomplished persons are made. But it does not begin there. The kids are initially taught to know the prestige of holding such esteemed positions merely by having gone through the process of successful learning. When children are wowed by such explanations and actually get inspired to become some of those professionals, they are then reminded that they can only get there after achieving certain study standards. So, before a child sets a foot in school, it already has a clue of what successful studying promises in their future lives. They innocently kick off the journey towards academic excellence without knowledge of other study factors, but only because they are charmed by the understanding of fruits of successful study. Even the highly accomplished persons in life never shy away from studying. They are neither scared nor demotivated from studying because that is their most reliable source of useful knowledge. For general living, career or business establishment and improvement, in short, understanding the role of studying in your life, particularly in your quest to becoming a successful person, is sufficiently motivating to get you going because fruits born out of studies are huge and highly palatable. Visualizing yourself swimming in the utmost comfort, happiness, and love boosts your confidence and gives you morale and ignites the fire inside of you to pursue and work tirelessly towards achieving your goals in life with vigor and determination. Preparation for study. After understanding the essence of studying, it is imperative to prepare adequately for each study session. Good preparation is a sign of orderliness and sound organization on the part of an individual. It puts things in order and provides a conducive atmosphere for studying. In order for a person to properly plan their study session, they need to first deal with the issue of procrastination. Procrastination holds people at ransom and bars them from getting started. It is usually a stumbling block in the way of those who wish to study, but always find an excuse to reschedule studying for another day, or blame their indecisiveness to study for being heavily preoccupied with God knows what. To set things in motion, procrastination must be avoided. There comes a time when one has to decide to get down to work, and that time ought to be now, not later. Postponement of beginning to work is just another form of demotivation as a result of poor planning and misplaced priorities. This can be dealt with by a decisive mind that sees the many benefits of studying and gets motivated to pursue it. Furthermore, setting out to do something is one thing and making proper arrangements to do it is another thing. For effective studying, There is need for adequate scheduling of study sessions because time is of utmost significance. Execution of individual study tasks must be clearly defined and planned within each study session. When this is done, studying goes on smoothly and gives the person the urge to study even further. Define concrete study objectives. Studying blindly amounts to nothing. It is a mere waste of one's invaluable time. That is why it is important to clearly set study goals that serve to actualize a person's dream or vision. Specific, attainable goals must be clearly spelt out, but avoid coming up with vague generalities. When a specific goal is achieved, a person gets that feeling of accomplishment and feels motivated to keep going. Importantly, an individual must not ever take any achievement for granted. They must always learn to appreciate themselves for attaining a given study objective in any way as long as it does not interfere with subsequent study sessions or tasks. For instance, one can take a short break, eat a fruit, or treat themselves to their favorite music, even briefly. In addition, it is highly motivational to think of wonderful things that result from successful studying. This is essential in helping a person to maintain a positive attitude towards studying and motivates them to continue working even harder. Ideal study environment. An ideal study environment is the kind that offers peace of mind, comfortable sitting, and sufficient supply of fresh air. This could be a study room in a house, normal classroom, library, or a quiet place like some serene environment somewhere out there in the open. Studying in a place where other unrelated activities are taking place is distractive, and it takes a toll on your concentration. The expected result is demotivation from studying, which makes it quite difficult to take in whatever you may be seriously staring at. Places that a person needs to avoid while studying include the following. Playing field. You are neither a player nor a spectator. Find another suitable place for studying. Noisy places such as music room, disco, bar, or living room. Even if you study through audio listening, you would still need to find an audio room to do your studying. By the roadside. You're not out to count motorists. You set out to study. Please study. Bedroom. This is a sleeping venue, not a study room. An ideal study environment must include a comfortable reading space and a seat with a proper place to hold study materials. A person in total study mood must not be interrupted from time to time because that reduces concentration. There is no way in this world that a person's eyes shall remain glued to a piece of text with constantly flashing lights, noises, and temptation to do something else. For instance, you get a feeling of fatigue while studying and there is a bed beside beckoning you to take a rest. The temptation to sleep is enormous. You unprecedentedly develop heavy eyes and eventually find yourself carelessly snoring in a thick blanket. As a serious person, you should be able to get rid of all distractions that may interrupt your studying experience. You should not carelessly pick a study venue, fail to prepare it prior to the start of your study session, and deliberately ignore any removable distraction from the venue. Just as there is time for everything, there is also a place for everything. Imagine a shepherd who directs his flock to an unguarded grazing land surrounded by crop farms, or conducting a math class in a fruit store. Avoiding distraction is just a way of trying to stay focused on what you are doing. Work comfortably and optimally to produce desired results. An ideal environment motivates you to channel your energy and strength to the main cause and keep you away from agents of manipulation, interference, and inconvenience. In the end, the fruits are massive and highly desirable. Access to adequate study supplies. School-going kid needs pens, pencils, books, geometrical set, and other essential supplies. These materials, when supplied in full, allow the child to concentrate fully and only care about what they are studying. On the contrary, a student who runs short of any of the essential study materials gets into the panicky mood, becomes anxious, loses concentration, and gets demotivated from studying. A person who has sufficiently stocked up all the necessary study materials finds it largely comforting to get down to the business of studying knowing that they have nothing to worry about. On the other hand, a person who is short of one or more study materials spends so much time worrying about what they do not have. This is because they know that the study shall not be completely accomplished and probably has to be revisited in future. A person who sets out to accomplish anything must always have a full supply of necessary resources. When they actually have no reason to be concerned about anything, high levels of concentration can be realized. Thus, motivation rises significantly when a person who studies feels sufficiently provided for in respect of study materials. replenishing the body and mind. They say that mental work is more difficult than physical activity. Arguable as it is, the fact remains to be that mental work uses up energy. On top of that, mental work destroys a lot of brain cells in the process of cell degeneration. Considering the above observation, it makes it clearly unavoidable to ensure that the body is replenished of energy and brain nourished for cell regeneration. This would ensure uninterrupted body and mind functions that are essential for effective studying. There are basically two ways of replenishing the body and mind. Rehydrate yourself constantly to cool the system and allow it to perform its functions the normal way. Eating on slight snacks regularly during a study session is essential for replenishing used energy and nourishing the brain for optimal functioning. Rehydration is a very important way of replenishing the body and mind. It has a cooling effect that calms the body, relaxes the nerves, and supplies a necessary ingredient for the body's many reactive processes, water. Person who is seriously studying must ensure that they have a bottle of fresh water to regularly rehydrate. This guarantees high concentration for longer since rehydration minimizes exhaustion. Additionally, the body needs to generate more energy as well as nourishment of the mind. Incidentally, it is required of a studying person to have light foods to generate energy that can sufficiently sail them through the study session. Note that chewing on heavy foods that release a gush of energy might quickly activate a person's sleep mode. For that reason, light snacks like peanuts or a fresh fruit is enough to complete the task. Heavy eyes are a complete turn-off to studying, and exhaustion completely takes a toll on concentration and puts off the mind totally from studying. Removing distraction. Distraction may refer to any agent of interference during a study session. It severs your ability to concentrate on your main objective and deviates focus to other unplanned issues, or largely derails any attempt to pay attention to what you are studying. Examples of distractions include, and are not limited to the following. A ringing cell phone is worse than chirping birds in a nearby bush since it is practically impossible to ignore. Working with a computer while studying is an exciting temptation that may get you into computer gaming mood with a delusion that you are taking a break or refreshing the mind only to drown in it and eat away your study time. Studying near playful and stubborn colleagues is as good as playing with a book in your while convincing yourself that you are studying. Wearing uncomfortable clothes is a perfect way of constantly interrupting your own study session with excuses with adjusting your clothes or throwing back your hair. Studying in a noisy place may just be another way of reminding people that you can study when indeed you are making fun of yourself. Studying in a busy place is simply trying to inform working, moving, walking, and malingering figures that you are a mere spectator and lack anything useful task to perform. Phones and computers are part of almost everybody's daily life. However, time for studying should remain as such. Operating phones and computers should be limited to mere research and reference work that has to do with the study task on hand. Otherwise, phones ought to be in silent mode or switched off, while computers need to be shut down and only rebooted after the study session. Additionally, matters of friendships and playtime ought to be spared only during short breaks in the middle of or between different study sessions and after the scheduled study period. Colleagues who try to distract you from your cause must be avoided as much as possible so as to concentrate fully on your study. Staying close to them and paying attention to their playful enticements might be a big demotivation from studying. Besides, it is important to carefully select clothes that fit comfortably during every study session. Constantly adjusting loosely fitting clothes or having to move from side to side because of super tight raiments is a cause of discomfort that may significantly weigh down on your concentration levels while studying. Noisy places, as well as areas with a lot of movement, must not be choices for study place. Noise and movements draw the attention of a studying person and hugely eats away a significant portion of their concentration. It is, therefore, advisable to choose a place of study that is free of noise and constant movement so as to be guaranteed of focused studying and full attention to every detail of each study task. Chapter 7. Facing Challenging Situations. The journey to success is never a walk in the park. Similarly, holding on to success is nothing close to a bed of roses. It is a process full of challenges that need to be addressed sufficiently in order to achieve a given goal. While in pursuit for success, a person stumbles upon hurdle after hurdle, normally in the form of tasks that cannot be handled with ease. Difficult tasks may slow down the entire process of working towards a successful As a result, it is imperative to devise a means of working your way around the tasks and eventually executing them as effectively as possible. To begin, let us first find out what exactly a difficult job is. Ordinarily, a difficult task may be a task that an individual might not be able to handle effectively because of lack of resources and important tools that are required for its execution. In addition, a task may seem difficult simply because the person who is expected to perform is not adequately prepared, mentally and physically. Whatever the case, a task that is part of the long process of the pursuit for must be performed by any means necessary. That is to say that a person should figure out a way to handle it in order to proceed with subsequent tasks, or finalize the implementation of a given plan. The following are steps that need to be taken so as to handle a difficult task. Acknowledge that you cannot handle the task. It is difficult, and accept that there is a problem that needs fixing. Be curious about figuring out a way to fix the problem through research and training to acquire necessary skills, ideas, and resources. Think critically of creative ways to make the task easier. Freely open up to others about the difficult situation and ask for assistance. Devise a step-by-step guide on how you intend to accomplish that enormous task. Execute your plan with commitment and determination. Relax and let loose. Be persistent. Wear a broad smile as you handle your task. Acknowledge that the task is difficult. Imagine a student who spends half of an examination session struggling to answer a difficult, only to end up flopping on the question and failing to attempt many other simpler questions. In addition, think of a victim of a bee sting who dismisses the bite a mere sting and eventually succumbs to the body's allergic reaction to the bee venom. Many people suffer huge losses for merely trying to act tough and courageous in the face of adversity. They sometimes pretend to be okay even when they are on the brink of collapse simply because they want to appear tough. Pretense is evidence of self-deceit, whereas failure to accept undesirable situations they are portrayed cowardice to do what is right. When a task is difficult, acknowledge that indeed the task is difficult. Clear your mind of worrying and anxiety by accepting that there is a problem and something needs to be done about it. Otherwise, you will keep fumbling and running helter-skelter without achieving any positive outcome. The acknowledgement and acceptance of a challenge in the execution of task settles your mind to wander the world of imagination and be receptive of new ideas and creative ways of handling the situation. It offers a platform for innovative thinking with the aim of coming up with a remedial action. It is always comforting to understand that difficult tasks are inevitable in the pursuit of success of any form, and the first step to ensure that you nonetheless take it on without problems is by letting that reality sink in the mind. Having false expectations is inevitable invitation of a resounding disappointment when such inescapable incidents of challenging tasks arise. It is therefore in your best interest to accept that challenges are normal in real life, more so in long processes of task execution. Consequently, it will always be a wise move to assume responsibility of handling such likely difficult tasks when they pop up, whichever way they do. Research and training. Difficult task may probably be something that you have never interacted with, or there could be tools for its execution, but you just have no idea how to use them. Perhaps you just lack knowledge on how to handle the entire process. In the face of such challenges, proper research and adequate training may just be all that is needed to set things in motion once more. Research and training are essential tools for acquisition of relevant knowledge and skills that are necessary for the execution of any task. Presently, the Internet offers quick-to-access research and training materials that can be conveniently obtained via the World Wide Web. For example, a person who wishes to learn how to configure a Windows Server program on a supporting machine can easily by downloading how-to videos from a website. The video would guide them through a step-by-step process that would dramatically make the person a pro Windows Server expert. Alternatively, they can read through vast resources of written text to complex compilations such as dissertations, and complete research by the experts in a certain field. Even the most successful people attest to the fact that research and training are essential undertakings that lead to successful endeavors in life. In a rather baffling discovery, the so-called successful people have strict study routines and even are privileged enough to build personal libraries in their mansions. They read books, journals, and magazines constantly to keep up with current trends and acquire knowledge, skills, and ideas for improvement of self, careers, and businesses. Some of these people are presently some of the most active people on social media. They do not necessarily aim to seek more following because of their apparent fame and popularity, but keep an eye on tips, new ideas, and technological breakthroughs for personal improvement. They understand that through research and training, people are able to get enlightened, empowered, and equipped adequately to face life. Consider thorough brainstorming. Were it not for the imaginative thinking of our forefathers, we would probably be wearing animal skin and wrapping leaves around our private areas instead of the presently fashionable clothes that not only hide our privacy, but also add to our esteem. I would argue that people from ancient times were better thinkers than the present ones. With the clearly perceptible trends, future generations may turn out to be even worse thinkers than the current world's human residents. Our forefathers did not just think about life, but they thought critically with the aim of unraveling life's unbelievable mysteries. And they succeeded, and accede. Indeed, evidently, creative thinking is far much more effective than the power of physical strength. That is why it is important to allow your thoughts to flow freely and let the mind to generate new ideas freely so that the most critical ideas that are essential for the execution of the difficult task can be created. Brainstorming puts you on the road to discovery, innovation, and conception of new ideas. It is through this process that a strategy is designed to elaborately implement a given plan for the execution of the task. For instance, if the metallic handle of your axe breaks into pieces in the middle of cutting down a sizable tree, innovative thinking might lead you to the idea of carving another handle out of hardwood to complete the job. Otherwise, you would abandon the half-cut tree to find a welding shop a mile away to fix the handle of your axe so as to finish the job later. You wouldn't be distant from truth to loudly declare that the majority of human population detests engaging their minds in a constructive way. Life's challenges disturb us the most, causing quite a massive portion of the human race plunged in a deep sea of regretful thought, self-pity, stress, and crippling paranoia. We worry most about how we will live tomorrow, but spend quite an unappreciable amount of our time thinking about how to configure tomorrow's experiences into blessings. An individual who embraces brainstorming views challenges as tasks that need to be handled in some way for a desirable outcome. They work their heads off to establish the real nature of a challenge and commit their time to figuring out a creative and effective means of eliminating the challenge through thorough brainstorming, rather than letting the challenge to weigh down on their shoulders and discourage them from other life-changing pursuits. They gladly and swiftly think of a way to handle it. They activate that positive segment of their cognitive mind to face the challenge with a conviction of emerging victorious. Brainstorming gives them motivation to take the challenge head-on without fear or hesitation. Consult with others. People are the greatest resource that anyone could ever have. They represent a walking bunch of the internet, well-equipped library or state-of-the-art laboratory. Apart from providing useful information, wise counsel, they provide with you the highest needed logistical support that makes a process unusually easy and fun to implement. As they say, a problem shared is a problem half solved. People should the idea of consulting with others for guidance, pointers, and tips so as to know how to handle a difficult task. One should not feel ashamed to seek help from a friend, workmate, or even passerby as long as they can willingly assist. Asking for help does not depict incompetence or weakness. Instead, it serves as another way of knowledge in an informal manner. Remember that even the most educated person does not know everything. The highly successful persons cannot provide every solution to all challenges in life. Imagine that successful tycoon who walks up to their neighbor, an ordinary gardener, for the secret to maintaining such a magnificent orchard. In spite of having everything, they just lack words to express their amazement at the little man's ability to be such an enviable fruit farmer. Astonishingly, everyone knows something that others don't. When you are certain of another person's ability to do something, or merely trying your luck, always remember to have a degree of trust in the person you expect to assist you. Some people find pleasure in misleading others out of malice, ignorance, or sheer lack of seriousness. Such people ought to be avoided from having influence in any of your serious undertakings. Instead, approach people who, to a large extent, show signs of willingness, genuineness, and good faith to help you accomplish your task. Try as much as possible to only engage with people who are experts in the field. For instance, do not waste time consulting with a computer programming genius on bookkeeping matters. Instead, find a person with experience in booking to help you with the difficult task. If it is a web design problem, contact a seasoned web designer to offer you assistance. Do not bother a graphics designer for advice, because even he does help you. There are aspects of the task that they may not be able to expertly handle. Consequently, you will walk away gladly with insufficient technical know-how and only minimize the pain associated with the task, but not completely eliminate it. Devise an elaborate plan to execute the task. Have you ever experienced a moment of total confusion, whereby you begin something, stop suddenly because you remembered something else? Have you ever had to do a number of things without reaching completion on account of sparing them for later? Inevitably, everyone faces such challenges at some point in life. However, some people go through such moments almost all the time. Do you have any idea why? You may just lack a plan, but somehow find yourself struggling to do something of massive significance. But do you even know what a plan is? In simple words, plan is a mere course of action. It includes what needs to be done at what time, by whom, with what, and for what. That is to say that a plan outlines the procedural implementation of a process to achieve a particular objective. It includes a breakdown of tasks that must be performed, time frames, resources, and tools needed, and the intended outcome of the entire process. After acquiring all the necessary information, knowledge, skills, and tools, come up with an elaborate plan to execute the task. You must define step-by-step guidelines that will enable you to effectively each one of your tasks' individual phases. Adopt a practical approach in the implementation process so as to firmly stay on course to the task's completion. The research and training, brainstorming, and consultations primarily offer you raw ideas for implementation. A proper plan will organize such ideas into a formidable task execution tool for efficient execution of the task. Besides, a plan brings order and organization in the entire process, outlining activities in the order of urgency and significance. This eliminates confusion, unnecessary delays, and efficiency in the whole process. For instance, if you needed to collect and put beans in a storage bag, you would first find the bag, heap the beans, and finally fill the bag. You should not heap the beans only to realize that the bag is missing. What if it is about to rain? Don't you think floods may sweep away your beans as you aimlessly try to locate your misplaced bag? Always plan your time well and know exactly what needs to be done at what time. Assemble every necessary materials and tools for the execution of your tasks. Break down your task into manageable chunks and arrange them in their order of priority. Set strict timeframes and deadlines for completion each chunk so as to utilize each second of your time. Planning streamlines process implementation, reduces time wastage, and avoids confusion. It helps the focus solely on the task at hand and significantly improves concentration. Performing a task with a settled mind brings optimism. An individual operates in a peaceful environment, is in a position to give their best, and have all the reasons to produce desirable results. Get down to work. You have brainstormed, researched, and trained. Someone has offered you a guide, tip, or pointer on how to effectively handle the difficult task. So, you now have acquired knowledge, skills, and tools to perform the task. The plan is ready. What is holding you back? Get started, will you? Procrastination should not be another stumbling block. Promptly start working. Implement your plan with commitment and have the determination to perform the task to completion. It is not wise to deliberately postpone implementation for fear of possible obstacles. Just commit to the plan and be prepared to deal with any challenge that pops up along the way. Successful people or success-oriented people have firm belief in the first step of their quest. They believe that the start is the most critical stage of any process. Hesitations and procrastinations are the biggest challenges in the execution of even the simplest task. Therefore, one needs to put on their full working gear, grab tools, and embark on the process of plan execution at any slight chance that comes up. Understandably, that fear from the initial perception that the task is difficult may not be washed away completely, even with the acquisition of every required task execution. A person may still find themselves doubting their ability to perform the task efficiently. Anxiety and stress may creep in, taking a toll on a person's confidence and self-belief. All these amount to negative effect that takes control of the already tricky situation. Remember that the task needs to be performed, and you are the one that have to do it. Therefore, steer clear of stressful thinking and anxiety. Remain calm, believe in yourself, and internally keep telling yourself that you are ready. Avoid thinking so much and get down to work. without hesitation. Visualize yourself performing the task to completion and actually do it. Enjoy and be jovial as you perform the task. Relax, let loose, and consistently follow through the implementation process of your plan. Smiling through the work is a sign that you have a positive attitude, which is a key ingredient in effective task execution. Chapter 8. Money issues shouldn't shatter your dream of success. Many people find it quite a task to make life's important decisions because the thought of money is depressing and hugely stressful. We do not have sufficient money to enable us to engage in many of life's pertinent pursuits. Our hands are tied tightly in a prison where money has no way of penetrating. So, our desires and dreams to accomplish certain goals in life remain to be mere desires and dreams. We only wish to be in particular situations of self-fulfillment, but our lives may be permanently or temporarily subjected to mere wishful thinking. So, how do we stop merely desiring and dreaming and actually actualize our deepest wishes in this life? The answer lies solely in sufficiently addressing the issue of how to achieve financial freedom. We would gladly jump to answer the question of what financial freedom really is. But first, let us consider freedom from an unrestricted angle. Marcus Tullius Cicero once defined freedom as the mere power to live as a person wishes. Well, that is a bomb, but another conventional way defines freedom as a state of not being enslaved or imprisoned. The two are actually close relations, but not the same. Whereas the first definition portrays freedom as merely discretionary in respect of a person's desires and the ability to actualize them, the second definition depicts freedom as a phenomenon of which the fulfillment is determined by external factors. But what if we find a way of joining the two definitions so as to come up with our uniquely special definition of the word freedom? Let us say freedom is a state of not being imprisoned or enslaved, and the ability to live as a person desires. This may be subject to thorough scrutiny, but at least it offers a more elaborate description of the real meaning of the word freedom. Now that we have some clues on the meaning of freedom, and knowing that financial simply means that freedom with regards to money, it is a lot easier to narrow our discussion to financial freedom. In simple terms, financial freedom means the freedom to live on your own terms and the ability to make life's important decisions without being influenced by the state of bank account balance. For instance, when you choose to end an affair, you just walk away without hesitation because the other party is the breadwinner. Also, when you want to seek admission in a certain college, you just proceed without being concerned about the exorbitant fees being charged there. Moreover, leading a life with absolute financial freedom means that you have no worries about mortgage plans, buying of a car, and credit score, among other things. Essentially, financial obligations are the main sources of people's discomfort and stressful experiences in life because they are like unbearable burdens that you must endure for as long as they exist. As such obligations grow larger and larger, your financial load increases in quite a proportionate measure. You subsequently get more worried and stressful, and this may eventually cause a permanent scar in your life. It may derail your quest for self-accomplishment and subject you to a life of hopelessness. So, how do we achieve financial freedom? Inevitably, a person has to start thinking, doing things, and living differently. As they say, stupidity is doing the same thing over and over expecting different results. In fact, someone is struggling with a lack of financial means that they have not been doing things that lead to financial freedom, or their ways of seeking financial freedom have not been quite effective. As a result, a complete or significant overhaul of an individual's lifestyle must be realized to effectively work towards the highly coveted financial freedom. The following are the simple steps you take towards achieving a secure financial future. Taking responsibility for your own financial future. Increase your financial education. Increase your streams of income. A. Be a good manager of your finances. A. Make it a habit to save. Invest smartly. Think positively about money. Take responsibility of your financial future. We must keep reminding ourselves of the fact that each person's destiny is in their hands. That is true, and the more we endear our thinking to that kind of thought, the more we are likely to take initiative and make something out of our dear lives. In order for us to secure our futures financially, we must ready to claim full control of our financial status and work hard to achieve our main objectives. Any people allow the control of their finances to linger loosely in the hands of others. They allow themselves to be totally dependent on others and do nothing to assure themselves of independent financial status. In so doing, they let the other people determine how they live and pursue even the most important of endeavors in life. But we all know that no one can be 100% dependable. There are moments when that person you strongly believe to be financially stable stumbles and bites the dust. During such moments, things get tough and rough, in which case you start feeling the full pain of financial obligations weighing down heavily on your shoulder. That is the moment when you realize that you have never had financial freedom because of relinquishing your personal financial authority to another person. As a complete human, a person needs to learn how to take care of their important affairs of the future. The future of an individual can never be secured by another person. Every person must be responsible enough to design and shape their future according to their desires and ambitions. Financial freedom can only be realized by a person who has the ability to do the following: set concrete goals that lead to their financial freedom. Acquire the necessary skills and tools to utilize in the journey towards financial freedom. Have the commitment to work towards achieving their goal. I'm convinced that at some point you did come across a fully bearded adult who moves around boasting of their father's enormous wealth, or a beautiful young lady who is patiently waiting for a wealthy fool to come knocking at her father's door to ask for her hand in marriage. Worst of all, you may know of that promising young man who strongly believes in the God will provide praise and does nothing as he waits for God's miracle. Successful people, the ones who achieved financial freedom, got out of their comfort zones, strategized, and toiled their backs off to acquire such stable financial statuses. They did not bask in family glory, prayed to God without taking action, or waited for an accomplished Prince Charming to grant them financial freedom. Successful people work hard to be where they are. Increasing your financial education. It is common judicial rhetoric that ignorance is no defense. Let us apply it here. 2. It is perfectly in order, since a lack of knowledge on how to secure your financial future brings apparent and inescapable challenges in a person's life. Every process has step-by-step procedures that lead to a certain anticipated outcome. A misstep or mistake in the process of implementation leads to undesirable outcomes. To avoid such unfortunate events of failure, you must equip yourself fully with all the necessary knowledge and resources before embarking on that quest for financial freedom. Firstly, understand the main financial burdens that are weighing down on you heavily. This is just a way of getting to understand the real problem in your financial life that needs to be fixed. Then grab a book that talks about financial freedom. Listen to some inspirational stories about successful quests towards financial freedom. Wander the massive lands of the internet, or better still, consult with others who have attained some appreciable degree of financial freedom. The internet is full of educative material to enrich you intellectually with regards to financial freedom. Browse and click on links randomly until you bump into the material that suits your quest and learn from it. But the most fruitful approach to educating yourself on achieving financial freedom is consultation with a person who has proven success in the financial universe. People offer practical solutions that are tested and proven to work in certain environments, unlike general information that may be untested or plainly not practical under your specific conditions. Education is the source of useful information that will help you discover and understand what you would never have imagined. Therefore, it is imperative to learn with the aim of acquiring knowledge that is relevant to your specific pursuit and apply it in a way that produces positive results. Increase your streams of income. You all know the great feeling that a person gets after landing their first job. It may be hyped up even further by song and dance in celebration of such a great achievement. Please do not be deceived that such a job, however prestigious, will guarantee financial freedom. Do you know that, in fact, such a job only changes your lifestyle, that the pay only, but not necessarily sufficiently, serves to sustain your newly acquired lifestyle? Streams of income refer to the different sources of income that a person acquires to supplement their main source of income. For an employed person, it is imperative to start up even a small business, let us say a food store in the neighborhood, to supplement your salary. Alternatively, you may choose to offer expert advice at a fee during your off days simply to add to monthly income. Nowadays, people are enjoying the huge benefits of technological and internet breakthroughs that have online work the most flexible and convenient way of generating extra cash. There are numerous online platforms where employers connect with potential workers and agree terms that allow an individual to how they want to work and get paid even in the comfort of their living rooms. People who are seeking to attain financial freedom must take advantage of such opportunities to draw closer to their self-fulfillment. Atypically, the most successful people in this world do not rely on a single source of income unless it is business. However, even business persons know of and apply the concept of diversification to increase their earnings. Their idea of business franchising is a way of increasing streams of income, though a person specializes in the provision of a specific service or good, but in different locations so as to reach out to more customers. With proper planning and organization skills, even an employed person has the ability to start and run a business alongside their official job. This is especially important because it increases income and propels an individual towards financial freedom. Manage your finances properly. The ability to manage your finances properly is paramount in efforts to attain financial freedom. People who earn money, whether little or a lot, have to learn how to spend their money with so much if they wish to ever enjoy the pleasures of financial freedom. Practically all successful people only spend where and when they must, and hold on to their money where and when they do not have to spend it. On the other hand, some people are privileged with significant monthly incomes, but are reckless in their spending, crippling any chances of achieving financial freedom. Here are a few tips to help you manage your finances properly. Set goals on what you intend to do with your finances. Break your goal into manageable chunks. Prioritize the individual chunks of your financial goal from the most important to the least. Come up with an elaborate plan detailing how your financial goal will be achieved. Make sure to allocate a specific amount of money for each task. Proper budgeting. Do not alter your budget unnecessarily. Clear your debts. Seek advice from people who can assist you on how to manage your finances. In most cases, people fail to attain financial freedom because they lack management as far as personal finance is concerned. They spend recklessly, invest imprudently, and borrow unnecessarily. In the end, they find it hard to manage their finances with what they have and allow stress to be a regular guest in their minds. Proper management of personal finances requires an individual to apply the concept of frugality. A frugal person does not buy a new item when an old item is as useful as a new one. Second-hand item will do just fine. They do not buy when they can lease. They do not consider leasing when renting is admissible, and they do not rent when there's an option of borrowing. In short, a frugal mind spends if and only if it is necessary. Frugality is a habit that prevents wastage of finances and promotes the habit of saving, which is a powerful foundation for the pursuit of financial freedom. Embrace the habit of saving. Crucial factor in the quest for financial freedom requires the development and cultivating of certain habits, just like it is in the journey towards a successful life. One of the highly essential habits is saving. Difficult as it is, the habit of saving is the primary step towards financial freedom. Self-made millionaires attest to the fact that the habit of saving plays one of the most critical roles in an individual's pursuit of financial freedom. And the comforting convenience is the fact that anyone has all it takes to learn this immensely potent habit of saving money. But what does it mean by saving? When you truncate a portion of your regular earning with an eye fixed on tomorrow's financial uncertainties, you are saving. When you deliberately spare a small percentage of pocket money for a likely trip in the future, you are sincerely saving. If a person regularly sets aside some of their income for future charity donations, then they are saving. The list goes on and on. But the concept revolves around the idea of regularly setting aside a percentage of your money for future use, whether the use is foreseeable or not. The key point is setting aside a specific percentage of the income. The regularity of the setting aside of a specific percentage of the income is imperative to determine the amount that you can save so as to avoid interfering badly with your normal spending. For the start even with ones of your monthly income. As you get used to your saving habit, increase your monthly savings slightly to like 2 of your monthly, and adjust your spending accordingly to ensure that the saving habit does not cause inconveniences in our normal life. Observe your progress and keep on making slight increments to your savings amount per month as you adjust to a new expenditure. As you progress, the habit becomes normal. You feel less concerned about the impact of your saving habit to your normal expenditure, and life goes on smoothly. It is advisable to carefully determine a specific savings amount that you intend to deduct from the total income. It is unwise to make irregular savings because such may allow room for compromise and tempt you into skipping it all the same on some months. Setting a specific amount from your total income instills a sense of discipline that restricts you from deviating to other unplanned considerations. Repetition of a habit in clearly timed and measured conditions allow you to acquire and nurture the habit much more quickly. In addition, the savings must be made on a regular basis as a way of emphasizing the repetition, a necessary trait for acquiring of the habit. When the savings are made irregularly, it becomes difficult for the habit to be implanted to the subconscious mind, making it a lot more challenging to adopt and cultivate. Anybody who seeks to attain financial freedom must have something to cling on. In most cases, the journey towards financial freedom begins with the conception and implementation of a really promising business idea. It may also be an opportunity to make some investment with a potentially favorable return on investment. However, such million-dollar ideas end up disappearing into a thing because of lack of capital. In most cases, people find that credit institutions may not be the ideal destination to seek for startup capital. There could be restrictions of credit limit, loan security, and guarantors. More devastating is the fact that even a credit institution that offers to award you a loan, the qualifying amount may simply be insufficient to actualize your business dream. When you get into the habit of saving, it is possible to accumulate sufficient amounts that can get your business up and running without the hassle and bustle of credit institution conditioning that may turn out to be more inconveniencing than they are helpful. Typically, servicing a bank loan is a disturbing financial obligation that may just derail your spirited pursuit of financial freedom. Invest smartly. Investment may just be another way of saving. However, the concept of investment differs with saving in that money is put in some business so as to generate more money. It is simply the act of using the money to make more without necessarily being actively involved in any serious business undertaking, whereas saving entails safe custody of money that you have already earned. Investment involves injecting money into a potentially productive project with the intention of getting a share of the project's profit on top of the invested amount. A saved money can be used to make an investment, where there is an opportunity to earn more money with what you have. However, the concept of investment is not a straightforward thing that anyone should rush to do. Investment may require expert advice and deep analysis of the potential benefits from the investments, which prove to be quite a task for most people. As a result, investment ought to be considered from a richly knowledgeable perspective, and smart move be made as per expert advice from the bigwigs within the industry. There are so many investment opportunities which include the following: buying government securities, bids and bonds, trading in the stock exchange market, participating in initial public offers, IPOs, investment in real estate and property development, etc. Of all the investment opportunities, investing in government securities, bids and bonds has always been touted to be the safest. There's a guarantee that the government will never run away, and, in spite of any challenges, there is close to of a money-back guarantee. Buying government securities can be done any person as long as they have money for investment. They also guarantee a fixed amount of profit within a specific period. However, the requirement of minimum amounts may just be the only restrictive measure. Trading on the stock exchange must be left to the experts, because rushing to put your money blindly may lead to astounding losses. Even when you have a lot of money, it is imperative to have expert knowledge and experience of trading on the stock exchange market, or at least employ a stockbroker to do the work for you. When things work your way, you stand a chance of amassing profits within no time. However, a bad day may mean a tremendous loss on your side. Initial public offers, IPOs, normally offer willing individuals and organizations a chance to claim a share of a company's total investment by buying shares at a given price with the expectation of earning a share of the company's annual profits in what is technically referred to as dividends. Shareholders may also dispose of their shares by selling them favorably to make a profit and make a profit on the sly to make a profit in make. However, the price of shares normally drops soon after the initial public offer. It may take quite long before the share stabilizes, and eventually leading to a rise in the share price. This means that a person who is pressed to sell their shares when the price has dropped inevitably makes a loss. Another one who sells their shares at the same price as the initial price only recovers their invested amount. If a company makes losses, shares drop in price while shareholders fail to earn any dividend. The drop in share price indicates that the company has become unattractive to investors, while at the same time discouraging current investors from ditching the company by selling their shares. Real estate and property development are some of the oldest investment options that have been in existence. It involves investment in the building and management of residential as well as commercial property. Perhaps this is the most convenient investment opportunity that people with money can consider. It just requires capital for the development of a property, maintenance, renting, leasing of property to potential clients. Potential risks to such kind of investment include recklessness during development, non-compliance, fires, and natural calamities. In the absence of the above risks, this kind of investment is relatively simple and sustainable. Have a positive attitude towards money. Many people fail to pursue financial freedom successfully because of the numerous mental obstacles standing in their way. They have allowed certain impeding beliefs to rule their mind and ultimately distract from any of financial freedom. Shockingly, there are so many people out there who, for some weird reason, believe strongly that they do not deserve to be financially muscled. Destructive criticism from a tender age may just be one of the many reasons that deter such people from pursuing success and happiness that this world generously offers. They have engraved in their subconscious mind a belief that cannot make it in life. As a result, they have acquired habits that eventually prevent them from achieving financial freedom. To effectively engage in worthy causes that lead to financial freedom, people need to change their attitude towards, instead of perceiving money as a source of evil, they ought to see it as a means of fulfilling important tasks that lead to success and happiness. People who have a negative attitude towards money do not put it to good use. They deliberately choose to squander it in many ways. They may do some or all of the following: making foolish investments that do promise good return, carelessly wasting it on unnecessary expenditure, extravagant overindulgence, such as excessive drinking. You must first perceive yourself as deserving of money. Then you will have the inner strength to seek and use money on worthwhile undertakings. Also, understand and believe that money is necessary for normal and important endeavors in life. Money creates opportunities where there seems to be none, good or bad. It is therefore important to know that it is purely in your hands to decide how you intend to use your money. If you consciously use it on worthless, non-productive pursuits, then it is you that deserves to carry the blame. Otherwise, you have the ability to use your money for the realization of your dreams and accomplishments in life. The pursuit of financial freedom is only attainable for individuals who view money with positive mental attitude. Chapter 9. How to keep going from glory to glory. The one thing that people never stop to give a deep thought is the cause of that unexpected moment when a once so successful person sharply takes a downward spiraling movement that leaves them more devastated than the nobodies of a given society. In other words, I just wish to ask, how is it possible for a person who steadily rose from grass to grace to eventually slip embarrassingly to a ground-splitting drop back to grass? Is it even imaginable? Oh yes, it is. Perhaps you know of a famous sports person who did so well and enjoyed celebrity status only to eventually go bankrupt and end up as a hopeless, struggling person. If you do not know, then it is time you simply hit the Google browser search box and type something like persons who were once celebrated but later jeered, and click on as many links as you can just to see what some people go through in their life. Success is not a permanent house you expect to live behind after you call it quits on life here on Earth. Remember that tornadoes or earthquakes of magnitudes beyond 6.8 can easily bring down the strongest buildings on Earth. And just remember that there is a nuclear bomb that can wipe everything from the face of the Earth. So, how do you maintain your success? Well, the process is not as hard as you may imagine. If you can only remember the steps that propelled you to your success, then you know exactly what you need to do to maintain a firm grip on it. And keep in mind that success is never a one-thing affair. It is a continuous process that requires you to always be on your toes. Fundamentally, the following are the critical things that must be done to enable you to go from glory to glory. Celebrate your success. A. Be grateful, avoiding complacency. Learn from your success. Set new goals. Watch out for detractors. Celebrate your success. It is important to just take some time off to celebrate each moment of success in life. Go out on a picnic, grab some tickets for a movie, go to your favorite restaurant for dinner, or simply dance to your favorite music right in the middle of the living room. This is especially important in helping you get fired up for more success. The primary motivation needs to come from the inside. Getting into a jovial mood even for a few minutes is enough to channel your positive energy towards a better cause. Gratitude. Be grateful that you did not fail, because success is no guarantee even with sheer hard work and determination. Appreciate everyone who contributed towards your achievement because you may still need them in your future endeavors. Above all, appreciate yourself for the commitment to your quest and effort that contributed largely to your accomplishment. It is a great way of motivating yourself to keep going for more, as it strengthens your positive attitude towards commitment and determination to achieve more. Avoid complacency. Success needs not subject you to the farthest corner of your comfort zone. Remember to always work even harder whether someone is watching or not. Apparently, as you chase success, failure may be chasing twice as hard. Complacency will allow failure to catch up, and you might just be forgotten as though you never ever existed. So keep working and find no reason to ever relax. Learn from your success. We mostly find it quite convenient to encourage people to learn from their failures, but rarely do we tell them that success is a rich source of important lessons. And, undoubtedly, a successful ending does not eliminate possibilities of faltering and falling in the entire journey. Therefore, it is important to learn from success, just as it is imperative to learn from failures. You must look back and reflect on what you did to achieve that success, and also think about what might need improvements in case you embarked on a similar quest. Basically, let not your momentous joy of success quell your spirits for more knowledge, skills, and tactics for other worthy pursuits. Quench your thirst for self-improvement with constant learning and a positive attitude that drives you towards success. Set new goals. Consider success to be a journey and less of a destination. Yearn to reach even greater heights. Let the sky not be your limit. Long to see what dwells behind the skies and have the conviction to get there. Set new goals for further accomplishments and use your previous experience to achieve even more success with more ease. Remember that as long as you live, failure is possible. Now, therefore, allow your mind to embrace the idea that the only way to hold on to success is to keep striving for more. Watch out for detractors. Not everyone finds joy in another's success. It is funny, as it true, at how someone else's success can bring pain. There are people, even the ones you consider to be your close friends, whose main agenda is to derail your progress and hinder you from succeeding. Beware of such people and run away from them as fast and far away from them as you can. There are so many losers in this world that would be glad to win more souls into their crusade of failure. Do not allow yourself to succumb to their trickery and treacherous techniques. Conclusion. The path to success is long and winding. It is full of potholes and bumps that make it hugely exhausting. That is why anybody who sets out to pursue success and hopes to finally end up as a successful person must be prepared to go through thick and thin to get to a happy ending. You must set concrete goals that you need to achieve, be ready to work hard, and have the courage to face challenges to the end. Essentially, building a good character and having a positive mental attitude are the key pillars to achieving success. However, it is important to understand that good character and positive mental attitude can only be acquired and cultivated by a constant expression but not repression. It is worth noting that a successful person leads a happy life, is admired and loved. Also, financial freedom is one of the most important aspects of a successful life. As a result, it is necessary to learn the fundamental techniques that must be adopted in order to ensure that people have the knowledge and skills to work effectively towards achieving financial freedom at an individual level. In summary, successful people are made through a systematic process that includes inculcating in them crucial habits and values that drive them towards achieving success. A successful person has financial freedom and has the power to lead a life without being concerned about the status of their bank accounts. Besides, a successful person has a bigger responsibility of constantly working to maintain their accomplishments and even work to achieve more.